Sad Boy Radio returns on this Monday. Back from Las Vegas early this morning, and the Titans lose again. Should we do some kind of editing to the effect of that? You saw the Vladdy Jr. clip on the Fox postgame show, Fox MLB postgame show, where the Blue Jays advance past the Yankees, and it's him and Big Papi, and he's like, "Hey, Papi, Yankees lose. Should we do something like that with the Titans? Does the audio editing department have that kind of capability at their disposal? I don't know what else to do on a Monday at this point.
Talk about it. 20-10. Cam Ward struggles. 3 turnovers. Do them in. Raiders take advantage of one. Another essentially nukes the Titans' ability to get 3 points at the end of the half. 6 sacks given up in the Raiders with 3 takeaways and 6 sacks in one game, and that has not happened for that organization since the year 2002. 2002, you know who the head coach was of the Las Vegas Raiders in 2002?
Fitzy said they've had 16 coaches since the turn of the century or something like that. It's outrageous.
Well, it was Bill Callahan. Was the head coach of the Raiders the last time they did that.
I'm sure 3HL will be adorned in their Titans Colonoscopy Monday shirts today because that's what that game felt like. They trailed. They did not score in the first half. They have one first-half touchdown all year. They have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter all year. That stat courtesy of John Glennon.
Yeah, they've been
the Nashville Post.
What is it, 47-9? They've been outscored in the first quarter?
Yes, they are awful. And it's, well, here's the thing. The offense is awful. The special teams is good to fine on a daily basis or on a weekly basis. The defense is
playing above its head.
Yeah, and
playing above its talent level, I would say.
The defense?
Yes.
Like I thought Jahad Ward and I thought Jeffrey Simmons played a really good football game yesterday. Again, they're not perfect, and Jalen Armour-Davis negates a sack. Cody Barton had a touchdown wiped off on this damn, is it a fumble? Is it a incomplete pass, forward pass, whatever situation? But the defense is playing good enough football, but like their offense is an anchor. Yeah. Just an anchor at this point in time. And for a team that, again, has an offensive-minded head coach who's no longer calling the plays and a number 1 overall pick at quarterback that's drowning because now he's a part of the problem. He's bad yesterday. He's just bad. And I don't know how he gets better because they're bad around him. Like, it's this never-ending cycle of suck for them.
Nothing about the offensive performance built on how you finished in Arizona, which Arizona obviously handed you opportunity after opportunity, but they still did something with it on offense. None of that carried over. None of it.
None.
And I was listening to Kevin Dyson on Titans Talkback on my drive home from the station last night, and he was making the point that the only time we have seen a semblance or a flash of success from the Titans offense from Cam Ward this season has been when he's just playing free, playing off instinct, right? The 2-minute, off schedule, whether it's the touchdown pass first of his career against the Rams at Nissan Stadium in week 2 or the 2-minute last week in Arizona. Whenever the Titans settle down to just try to play their game on offense, it's like quicksand. They just can't even get out of the gates. Again, the third downs that they did not convert yesterday averaged 11 yards of distance. The third downs they did convert, which were only 3, averaged 4 yards of distance. It just we continue to hammer that, but that's what it's been all season long. They can't get out of the gates. They can't find solutions whatsoever on offense.
And the penalties aren't as bad, or the penalties are worse than the game book would indicate because they had a bunch declined.
Yeah, and they came at untimely, right? Like there's a face mask that wipes away a sack, and then it leads to Raiders points, and yeah, they just came at poor times.
They had a fully healthy offensive line who sucked on Sunday. J.C. Latham was bad against Max Crosby, and this was the kind of thing that and listen, I don't know that it's going to be bad all the way through for J.C. Latham, but in the 2 games that he's played now, or a game and a half that he's played, we'll say, given that he left early in Denver, he's not been good out there on the right side. And this was, and Max Crosby is no small task, right? Like Max Crosby's going to make a lot of better offensive tackles look bad, but you can't have this entire situation where the offensive line starting to build consistency, starting to have continuous performances, continuous solid performances week over week, and you're doing it with Oli Udoh. All of a sudden you put the 7th overall pick in the draft back in the lineup, and you're just a sieve. I mean, Kevin Zeitler, again, bad.
Yeah, the sack fumble given up when Devin White just comes in untouched, completely untouched. I mean, Robert and I were watching that play before the show, and maybe we'll talk to somebody smarter than us at some point. Ben Jones will not be here today. We'll let him enjoy his fall break.
Fall break with the kids. He's at the beach.
But maybe
Lucky for Ben.
Yeah, put a pin in it. And I saw him on Friday, by the way. Well-coached game by Ben Jones and the Ensworth coaching staff.
You should have been fined simply for the amount of names that you dropped before the radio show started about who you were around at the Ensworth game.
Dude, it was a star-studded affair out there at CPA. Yeah, insane. But great game. Ensworth winners over CPA on Friday. But I would be curious to ask Ben or somebody that could explain to us what happened on that play. The sack fumble on the goal line that leads directly to the Michael Mayer touchdown. Raiders take a 10-0 lead. I feel bad for Denard Wilson, man. I mean,
his unit's doing its job. And then Ryan Callahan getting up there last night and saying, as a part of his introductory statement, Robert, I don't know if you have that, but having a part of it contain the words, "It is what it is." Like if I'm Denard Wilson or Jeffrey Simmons or Bones Fossil or Chimere Dike or Peter Skoronski, anybody doing their jobs on this football team, and there's not a lot. You can probably boil them down to two hands, but still, like, it is what it is, brother. You're 4-19. Bleep off.
They gave up 55 yards of offense in the first half. The Titans defense did 55 yards of offense. Had 2 sacks by halftime. And yet they're down 10-0. In no way did this defense deserve to be down 10-0 at the break, doing everything they possibly could. And like we've seen time and time again this year, the dam just breaks at some point. And the Raiders come out in the third quarter and put together a long scoring drive to go up 17-0. It milks about 8 minutes of clock to open up the second half, 70 yards. And at that point, 17-0. Unless they have a Cardinals-like meltdown, you figure the game's basically over.
How annoyed are you going to be with me this week?
You have control over that.
Oh, yeah, but you know that I have a lack of self-control in these certain situations. But there are stats flying around because it is Patriots week, and Brian Callahan has as many wins in his first 23 games as Mike Vrabel does in his first season as coach of the Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots are good.
Drake May
is playing
good.
Out of his mind.
Drake May is a problem.
Yeah,
it's not fantastic. Even a Vrabel thing. Like the conversation this week, Vrabel is obviously going to take up a lot of oxygen. I think he's probably going to downplay a lot of the what's going back to Tennessee going to feel like
Yeah,
whatever.
He won't say anything about it.
I don't think it will be overwhelmingly interesting, but like the conversation is, can you stop Drake May because he's Super Saiyan right now?
Yeah, he's dicing people up. He had 3 touchdowns, no turnovers last week. He hasn't had an interception since I think week 2 or week 3 of the regular season. So he's hot. Titans are not. And this was up there with one of the worst offensive performances of the year, if not for that shutout loss in Houston.
It's like that movie Groundhog Day. It's just the same thing over and over and over again. And like I really appreciated the two of you last Monday, and the way that you wanted to talk about the game on Monday, because you're after they beat the Cardinals, whatever, and I was just kind of like, yeah, they got away with one, whatever. Like they're the same football team. That was nice that they took advantage of that, and I categorized it as, yeah, they did their job for once. They did their job, and maybe that's not giving them enough credit. But Lucas, when they come out and they look that way, and we'll get to some of the commentary from Cam Ward, Jeffrey Simmons, then Cam Ward, about what led to a performance like that in Las Vegas after the team's only win from the season. Like, how am I supposed to categorize Arizona anything but? Yeah, they just a fluke.
No, there's no other way to look at this, right? Like that's such a bad look to come out like that. 25 yards of offense in the first quarter. And you had the football first. I mean, you had the chance to go out and carry that momentum from last week. 3 and out. And we saw the same thing last year, right? When they won in Houston and they went to Washington and laid an egg and were thumped at Northwest Stadium. And weren't there comments that particular week to a similar effect? I know we'll play the audio from Jeff saying that they had their worst week of practice.
The hangover from success is what Jeffrey Simmons said in the Washington locker room after beating the Texans.
Right. And to pick up their 3rd win of the season in week 12.
The hangover from success for a 3-win football team.
So you can't look at it in any other way than they don't know how to handle that, because they haven't done it.
Yeah, but Jeff's done it. Like there are players in that locker room who have won. Brian Callahan has won. Like this is, they don't get away with, oh, they don't win here, so they're not used to winning or they don't know how to win. No, these are players and coaches and people who have had success in other places, but here together for this organization, they just all of a sudden collectively suck. It's inexcusable.
Yeah, I don't know how else you take that, right? That they won a game. Yes, it's a relief. Yes, it's a weight lifted. Like, it's okay to celebrate those things, but how else as a Titans fan are you supposed to take that the team that finally won to get to 1-4,
Oof.
it just couldn't follow it up with any sort of extra energy, couldn't carry that through, had their worst week of practice following the win, and then looked lifeless in Vegas. How else are you supposed to take that as a fan?
I mean, as a smack in the face. You know, it's that I don't think they're doing it intentionally. I think they're just awful. Just genuinely awful at this.
Just don't have answers, right? Offensively, they just don't have answers.
Yeah, because Jeffrey Simmons deserves better. Jeff has handled this spectacularly the whole way through. And I hate that he looks like a beat dog after all of these losses. And it's draining.
And he's balling.
So draining.
He's balling.
And he, again, yesterday, he was good. Like, he was so good.
Had a sack, a couple TFLs. His pressure on Geno leads straight to the Cody Barton interception in the second half. He's got 4.5 sacks. He has a sack in 3 straight games, which he has not done in 3 years. You, me, and Jim talking on Titans Countdown pregame, and I asked Jim, is this the best version of Jeff we have seen since he was drafted? And Jim said, yes, this is the best Jeffrey Simmons that we have seen playing for the Tennessee Titans. And it's just unfortunate that they haven't been able to capitalize on that.
615-737-1045. That's how you jump in. And we'll get into the conversation today around Cam Ward, because Cam Ward is now, I mean, I think it's reasonable to say he is contributing to the problem, but it's how do you get him out of the cycle when they are so bad around him and he can't get better? Like there seems to be no opportunity for Cam Ward to get better, though I think that we can have a conversation when Brett Kern comes in studio about some bias that we might have in having more favorable discussions around Cam Ward than Cam Ward's performance actually deserves. So your phone calls next. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Had some Hattie B's in Las Vegas, Lucas. The hot chicken travels.
Nice.
Travels well. It was a fun trip until the football game. A lot of Titans fans having fun at the Old Red get-together. You didn't think I'd show? Coach Mack bullied me into it.
Looked like there was a good turnout of Titans fans.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a trip well worth taking, regardless of where the team was or what the results ended up being. I'm sure the results, you'd feel better today if you were flying home with a victory as opposed to whatever the hell that was, or just, like Jeff Simmons will say here in a second. We'll play that audio for you. Just bad football. Even though Jeff is playing excellent football, but it's not an individual sport. Good turnout at Old Red. Titans fans excited. Jarrell Casey getting a crowd hype. Kyle Vanden Bosch getting a crowd hype. Coach Mack had some logistical issues getting there, but when he finally got in there, it was a good time. So well done by the Titans radio crew to get the Titans fans in one spot and get them going. It's unfortunate that their team could not follow through. We're going to play 3 different clips from last night for you. Brian Callahan, then Jeff Simmons, then Cam Ward, and we will have discussions about what the 2 players had to say, because that's as 5-alarm fire messaging as I think you can find without actively pointing fingers at people on a football team or at a coaching staff or at teammates. And I'll explain to you what I mean by that in just a second. But first, your phone calls. Let's start with Thomas.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up?
So, first off, what is with Callahan getting the ball first and then deciding to just run the ball 3 times straight? Like, it's crazy. Like, the first 2 or 3 drives, even the commentators were saying, like, okay, if you're the Titans, you need to come out here and be a little more assertive or something. But he needs to go. And then J.C. Latham should have just stayed on practice squad or something, or IR or whatever, because he's standing straight up every time they say hut. He's not even squatting. That's why Crosby was so able to have a good game. But overall, we suck, and that's all I got.
Well done by Thomas. Thank you for the call. All right, so the at the end there cracks me up. So they get the ball. They lose the coin toss. Raiders opt to defer in that situation. They have a 3-yard run. They have a 6-yard run. So it's 3rd and 1, and they put Chestnut in the game. And, Pollard is the one who carries. Corey Levin goes in the game. And they get stuffed on 3rd and 1.
Are we talking about, which 3rd and 1 are we talking about?
I'm talking about the opening possession, the 3 and out, right?
Yeah.
You get the ball 3 and out. Blah. So they clearly came out with an emphasis to run the football.
3rd and 1 on their own 44.
And they were having success running the football, and then they get stuffed. He was asked about this last night. In real time, I understand, 3 straight runs to start the game, coming off last week's game. You want to see something in the passing game. But I do also think it's reasonable for an NFL coaching staff. And listen, you're not going to hear me defend Brian Callahan and the things that have gone down here very often. But I do think it's reasonable for you, with Tony Pollard in the game and an extra offensive lineman, to think that you can pick up 3rd and 1. They just didn't. The execution of it, if they run the ball and they get the 3rd and 1, like most normal NFL teams would, I don't know. I don't know what the drive turns into. I don't know if they end up, throwing a pick or having a fumble or whatever happens after they convert that hypothetical 3rd and 1. But after the fact, I was just kind of yeah, they should be able to pick up 3rd and 1. I don't have a problem with them running there.
Yeah, I was surprised that Tyjae Spears didn't get more carries than he got. He got 5, which was only 1 more than last week. I thought he could be a more featured part, and I think he's looked sharp. I think he's making people miss. He averaged 6.2 yards per carry in the 5 carries he did get yesterday.
Well, and also, Lucas, this is a part of the theme. They said they were going to use more Tyjae Spears this week, and then they didn't use more Tyjae Spears. They said they were going to use more tempo. They used very little tempo. They said they were going to, the screen situation is maddening for as often as they are just so ineffective. I mean, Tyler Lockett has never taken that much contact, I think, in his entire last 10 years of football, the way that he's getting hit on some of these screens. He's got nowhere to go, and they're not blocking it up correctly, and they keep trying to execute it, and they don't do it well. They are convicted in their use of screens. It's about the only thing that I think they're convicted on, and the screens don't do anything for them.
I was talking to Zach and Stoney about this yesterday. I would love to see somebody chart every screenplay this season. success rate.
You got to find a real sicko for that.
There's plenty of them out there. Pass attempts, completions, yards. Like, I am genuinely curious at what that looks like for the Titans this year.
But, like, how big of a problem is that where the coach is asked about all these different things, the RPO stuff, right? They're not using RPOs with Cam Ward, even though Cam Ward was a highly successful RPO quarterback, and, you know, they were concerned initially in the preseason and stuff like that. In training camp, he was getting some passes tipped on it, so they've gone away from it. Maybe some of that is fair, but, like, all of the things that they message when we ask them questions and then they don't follow through on it is also a point of concern here, or you would disagree. Because I'm willing to acknowledge that, like, once you get in a game, things can change, and maybe everything that you said at the podium isn't going to come to fruition. You're not going to be able to get to whatever you want to get to. Like, I get that. But I think it's also fair for Titans fans to see the laundry list of things that we're asking the coaching staff about on a week-by-week basis, and then literally none of them change.
No, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, yes, things change throughout the course of a game. Adjustments are made, but problem is things don't change for the better for the Titans offense. When things change for an offense throughout the course of a game, they change because, okay, the defense is presenting something different and you're seeking answers, and the Titans just don't seem to have those answers offensively through four quarters. It just doesn't happen. The only time the offense has legitimately had answers this season has been in the fourth quarter with Cam Ward. Just cut it loose. We have no choice but to go tempo, quick game, push the ball downfield because we're down multiple scores in Arizona, and they're giving us opportunity after opportunity to come back in this game. Other than that, yeah, we have not seen those answers from the Titans offense. Haven't seen it at all. And to make matters worse, you got Calvin Ridley going down with the hamstring.
Yeah, ruled questionable during the course of the game with the hammy, then officially ruled out with the hamstring because I guess he just couldn't open it up. It happened early in the game, and he very quickly went out of that game. Brian Callahan, the person whose job it is, or who's most responsible for people, and not just him, but his staff finding answers, and they are unable to do so. At the podium last night talking about the offensive struggles.
Yeah, I'm incredibly discouraged by the outcome. I mean, we felt good coming into the game, and to not be able to perform well on offense and not be able to score any points and then lose a game is disappointing. You know, and we all got to be better. Cam's a part of that too. Cam's got to play better football as well, and we got to coach better. We got to play better. All those things. It's not all just him, but he is a part of it, and we'd like to be able to start seeing some more good football being played, and we got to do a better job.
So there is no winning position if you're Brian Callahan to criticize the number one overall pick. And it's not even like, I don't even think it's criticism. I think it's just pointing out the facts. And there is a contingent of the Titans fan base that is not going to want to hear that Cam Ward is playing poorly, on top of the rest of them playing poorly. But Cam Ward is not good right now. It doesn't mean that he's going to be a bust. It doesn't mean that he's going to be bad this week against the Patriots. But so far, we have seen far more bad Cam Ward than we have good Cam Ward. That is also a product of his circumstances. Like, there are so many different things to take into account here. But those 3 turnovers that he had directly contributed to the loss. If Will Levis had, and I hate to do the comparison shopping thing, but if Will Levis had the fumble at the end of the game that Cam Ward had,
just falls out of his hand.
It would have just been, shrug shoulder, Levis doing Levis things. But it's Cam Ward now, and he's doing the Levis things.
Well,
not all the Levis things, but that was a Levis-ish play.
I mean, the sack fumble, he just gets absolutely clobbered. I mean, Devin White is completely untouched. Again, I'd love to know what happened there. It looks like Crosby's lining up outside of J.C. Latham, and I couldn't tell who it was. Titans had somebody in the backfield going out to chip, and Latham just ends up not really blocking anybody, and Devin White races in untouched, just tramples Cam Ward, balls out on the football, Raiders ball, they score immediately. And you have Kevin Zeitler and Lloyd Cushenberry looking at each other, arms outstretched, like, what happened there? Your 2 most experienced, and we're supposed to be your most reliable offensive linemen this season. So, yes, he was not good, but the 3rd turnover where the ball just falls out of his hand, don't know what happened there. Game's over at that point. And then the interception, there's pressure coming, but end of the day, he throws a pick. But it's hard for me to put that sack fumble directly on Cam Ward.
I asked Brian Callahan, and I asked Robert to pull this up. We didn't ask him to do it before the show, so it may take him a minute to get there, and that's fine, no rush. But I did ask Brian Callahan about that, like specific to, it felt like from our vantage point, and the TV replay was easier to find this time than it was in Arizona. So, we're watching the play on the field. We're looking up at the monitors to see what we might have missed. It felt like from the untrained eye, there was a lot of free rushers, to your point, coming at Cam Ward in the game. So I asked Brian Callahan specifically, did you feel there was a communication issue out there as to picking up the protections? This is what the coach had to say.
We only had one. The sack fumble was free. We had an error on the right side there. We should squeeze. We're hot either way. We're in 5-man protection with edge help, so we're hot there. Ball's got to come out, but we didn't squeeze it, so he's not hot off the most outside guy, which is what he should have been, and put ourselves in a bad spot there. So, yeah, we didn't execute that part. But as far as free runners, I don't remember anyone else that was free. We might have missed a block or two.
With the screen game, you guys...
That's all right. So either way, missing protections or miscommunication, those are the things that get you beat because they create the turnovers, and Devin White running through Cam Ward's face mask on the, where did they recover the ball? The 2? I know they ended up scoring from the 5, but the Raiders take it over at the Titans' 2-yard line, and you continue. You did the Geno Smith thing yesterday, and Geno tried to give you one. That was the most Geno Smith interception he could have thrown yesterday. Geno was not playing good football. The Raiders are not a good football team. And that is what makes yesterday's inability to operate on offense so infuriating, I'm sure, if you're a Titans fan.
Raiders shouldn't have had more than 13 points in this game.
No.
Again, the Titans' defense, in my mind, gave up 13 points in this game. On the road, that's a winning performance.
615-737-1045 is the number. Zach is in Chattanooga.
Hey, Buck. Cam Ward... Can we just be like the Panthers, how they benched Bryce Young last year? Can we bench him for a month or something? Last season, Will Levis drove me absolutely crazy every game. Me and my dad try to make it to almost every home game. I was actually wanting Will Levis to come back out there yesterday from how bad Cam Ward is. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for the call. With all respect to Will, let's not. I don't want to. The Levis experience is more exciting because there's more drama to it. The Cam Ward experience is less exciting because it's just bad football. Now, I brought up last week, and we mentioned the idea that we were talking before the fourth quarter rally in Arizona. We were talking in the press box amongst ourselves. Are we going to ask Brian Callahan if Cam Ward should be sat for a little while? Because he's drowning. He's just drowning out there. And then, Dan Orlovsky has his commentary on Twitter last week about Cam Ward and some of the what I can't remember the exact word that he used to praise Cam Ward, but it was something like spectacular. Maybe that wasn't exactly the word, but it was something to that effect. And I texted Dan, I wish I saw what you see because I'm not a trained professional quarterback. I don't break down NFL film for a living. What?
Sensational. I think he looked absolutely fantastic, was the quote.
Since Cam Ward, sensational.
Sensational. I think he looked absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
And he had similar things to say after the week 1 loss in Denver.
That's fine. So I texted Dan, hey, I don't get it. I wish I saw what you saw. We were getting ready to walk down there and ask Brian if they should sit him just because we feel like he's drowning out there. And Dan wasn't dismissive of me. He was just like, no, that's crazy. I think he's doing some really cool stuff. He just needs more help, which is fair.
Sounds dismissive. Continue.
From Orlovsky?
Yes.
I mean, he could have been. He's probably thinking in his head, this idiot. But he didn't say that to me, which I appreciated. So, again, what the caller is saying is, they did this with Bryce Young last year. And no two situations are created the same. I don't know if the one thing that would actually hurt Cam Ward's confidence is if you sat him down. I don't know that Cam Ward gets better from not playing football, even though he seems to be getting worse from playing football for this team. It's a really difficult situation, and Brandon Allen's not going to win you games, but it is it's not unfair for the fan base to wonder, hey, what if Brandon Allen comes in there and paper cuts a team to death and is taking the underneath stuff and is not hunting the big play and not holding the ball, and it gives them a better chance to win. Maybe they don't win, but I mean, Cam's not seeing things well.
I guess, but my follow-up question would be, how much underneath stuff is there really available for Cam?
That's a fair question, because when you talk about the ways that they are trying to safety valve for him, it's a lot of screens, right? It's a lot of those quick passes out to the flat. The tight end utilization was not there this week the way that he talked about, Cam Ward specifically talked about giving those guys more opportunities. I know,
Chig had 6 catches.
but not to the degree that we were expecting it, not to the effectiveness that we expected them to have. And how many of those Chig catches were for a positive gain? Because I know he got contacted once behind the line for a loss.
I mean, he had the one 20-yard catch and run there at the end where the Titans are down 10. And they're trying to drive to make it a one-score game with like 40 seconds left. Game's pretty much over. And you know, that was I think there was like a 4th and 15 late in their own territory. So that did pad Chig's stats for sure. Gunnar Helm only had 2 catches for 15 yards.
So I guess with the Titan situation, it doesn't help to sit him down at this point.
Yeah,
but I don't know what to do to help him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want him to have more support. It's kind of like do you fire Brian Callahan in season? I mean, with the commentary about the practice week and stuff like that coming off a win, I think that's making a more viable case for something like that. But for Cam's
but it's a
sake,
similar
like,
question.
what do you do?
It's a similar prompt. Like, what does it accomplish? Right? Like, what case are you making? Is it more beneficial for Cam Ward to continue to be out there trying to figure these things out in his rookie year? We always knew it was going to be tough sledding for Cam Ward in his rookie year. We always knew that. So is it more beneficial for him to be out there continuing to search for solutions, or is it going to be more beneficial for him to take a step back? Yes, Zach, the caller, said Bryce Young was benched. That was also in year 2, right, after a dreadful rookie year, to the point where confidence was a legitimate question for Bryce Young. Like, you could tell he was a deer in headlights out there. He needed a moment to take a step back. I don't think that's an issue quite yet for Cam Ward. To me, if you're benching Cam Ward, it is to protect him from injury, to worsen the situation even further, right? Otherwise, what is the real case for benching Cam? Like, what is the best case to put your rookie quarterback, the biggest reason to watch this team all season, which was the case before they kicked it off? What's the best reason to bench him other than you don't want him to get hurt and continue that or start that chain that you see so often struggling rookie quarterbacks?
Well, like Cosell is saying, he's developing bad habits. Like, you don't want him to get entrenched in these bad habits, and then all of a sudden he's Daniel Jones' entire Giants career, and he has to go somewhere else to get fixed. Like, that stuff can snowball very quickly. Evidently, right? We're through 6 games, and he's depreciating as a player. He's getting worse. So I think that it is a reason. I don't know if it is a good enough reason to sit him down and just kind of say, hey, bud, we feel like you need a chance to catch your breath, because it's a lot, but he's also got to be able to handle a lot. He's an NFL starting quarterback. He's the number 1 overall draft pick, and I don't know if, again, you talk about sending messages to the locker room. Like, I don't know what message it sends if Cam Ward is completely healthy and the coaching staff's just like, meh, why don't you take a seat? Because then we start to get into Anthony Richardson territory. And I'm not talking about, like, performance from the player. I'm just talking about, like, they didn't have a plan really with Richardson.
Yeah.
They're playing him, they're benching him, they're playing him.
By the way, did y'all see what happened to Anthony Richardson?
Did you see what happened to the Colts in
Sunday?
pregame?
Yes.
It's not just him. I didn't see is there video?
There's video of Charvarius Ward colliding with Drew Ogletree, the Colts tight end, in warm-ups and suffering a concussion that ruled him out for the game.
And he got blasted.
It was a blindside collision. Anthony Richardson fractured his orbital bone. It came out that he had an eye injury where a rubber leg band, like, slingshotted into his eye. And we learned later in the afternoon yesterday that he fractured his orbital bone.
Yeah.
Just
crazy.
2 absolute freak things happening in pregame with the Colts. And they took care of business. They beat Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals in what was actually a pretty fun game. And they're 5-1. But
they're the best team in football right now. By record.
Are they the only 5-1 team?
The Eagles and the Bills also have a loss, don't they?
The Bucks are 5-1.
Bucks are 5-1.
Yeah. Eagles have 2 losses.
Best team
now.
in the AFC then.
So the Bills have 1 loss.
The Bills, I would say, are probably still the best team in the AFC.
But when does
the
Bills play
Steelers
tonight?
have 2 losses?
Bills play tonight?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
The Steelers have 1 loss, Robert, but they have had a bye week, so they have 1 less win. But yeah, the Steelers handled the Browns. They are 4-1. But yeah, I mean, the Colts look fantastic. I'd still lean towards Bills are the best looking team in the AFC at the moment. But they'll play in Atlanta.
I don't know, man. That Colts team.
They'll play in Atlanta tonight at 6:15.
615-737-1045. We told you that we had concerning locker room audio from Jeffrey Simmons and Cam Ward. We will play those for you coming up next, as well as take your phone calls on Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Trajan Wealth is here to help you accomplish your financial independence because unlike the changing leaves of fall, your money does not grow on trees. Give Trajan Wealth a call today to make sure that you're making the right financial moves for your future. Trajan Wealth will help you decide what to do. The simple truth is that there is more to things like retirement planning than simply calculating your expenses to maintain your lifestyle through that next stage of life. Trajan Wealth can build a strategy based on realistic options that align with your goals and your circumstances. And if you're interested in wealth management that's designed to protect, maintain, and expand your financial portfolio, Trajan Wealth understands the importance of those tactical investments and tailored insights for growth in line with your level of risk tolerance. Call Trajan Wealth today to learn more about these strategies. 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, or visit them online at TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
No rain in the desert. For the Titans, 20-10. It wasn't really that close. So they're 1-5. They're facing a potential 1-6. And Brian Callahan, as the Titans head coach, is now 4-19. He's got one more win than Ken Whisenhunt did, but he's approaching, potentially, should he lose again this week, as many losses as what got Wiz fired. I know that Titans fans are over it. I know that they want blood in some form or fashion. I know they want somebody to be fired, and it doesn't seem like they particularly care who at this point, just somebody to pay for the sins of a bad football team. It doesn't feel like there's anything imminent. Is it subject to change at any given point because we don't know what Amy Adams Strunk is going to wake up feeling on a certain type of day or maybe a Tuesday? But right now, nothing feels imminent as far as a head coaching change. Though, again, the commentary from the locker room last night, Lucas, was pretty damning. So
let's hear it.
Let's start with Jeff Simmons, who spoke before Cam Ward's press conference. So it goes Callahan for us, Callahan, locker room, Cam. And so we finished Brian Callahan's press conference. We headed to the locker room to talk to the players, and God bless Jeff Simmons. He talks to us after each and every game. And this was what Jeff had to say about the way that the team came out flat against the Raiders.
I mean, that is disappointing. I mean, when you could, I mean, in this league, you got to learn how to stack wins, and to be able to carry that momentum over, you have to do, I mean, it started at practice. You know, I probably, just being honest, like this probably was one of our worst week of practice. Came out flat Thursday and things like that in that nature too. You know, sometimes things carry over, and when you get in this league, you have to prove it every week and reprove it. You know, you got to go out there and keep proving yourself, your team, that you can win this league. And you know, we didn't do that on all three phases, and you know, today was bad football. You know, we didn't play good today at all. So.
All right, so that's Jeffrey. Now you hear that, Lucas, and my reaction in the locker room was, "How the hell do you have your worst week of practice after your only win of the season?" He's not saying the thing that got him not quite in trouble last year, which was in Washington. He said a hangover from success, and I think he just misspoke. But to just be transparent about, yeah, we came out flat this week of practice, and we looked like it in the game. Like, to you as a Titans fan, I know you're in a more professional capacity, but, like, how do you receive that?
Allegedly. Yeah, how else are you supposed to receive it other than another version of last year, a hangover after a win, right? It's not like we're trying to, you know, read between the lines. Did the Titans just not respond well to winning a game? No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. You have the biggest leader on your team, the best player on your team, saying they had their worst week of practice after their highest high so far this season. So, yes, they didn't handle the success. By definition, they came out, had their worst week of practice, and then laid an egg in Vegas. I don't know how else you could look at it as a Titans fan, other than they did not know how to handle themselves properly after a victory to stack wins for the first time in 3 years.
Does that strengthen the case to fire the coach in season? It does to me.
I mean, there's plenty of cases. It's just added to the list, right?
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, like, at what point, like, what's the straw that's going to break the camel's back here? Or are you just going to continue to let this thing rot out? Because we're nowhere close. We're not even halfway. You know what I'm saying?
It comes back to the question that we ask when it comes to potentially benching Cam Ward. Okay, what is the benefit? What do you get out of it?
Well, I think the benefit, if that is going to be the dialogue after a win, and I think that there's I don't doubt that the locker room is going to continue to fight, whether it's for their teammates, whether it's for a paycheck, whether it's for the coaching staff. I'm sure people like Brian Callahan fine in the building. He's a very nice guy, like whatever. But if the message isn't getting home and the coaching staff isn't effective and the team is saying we had our worst week of practice after the only win that we've got this season, we came out and we played like it, at least a change in message might help.
I mean, will it? Like, what?
No, I don't know. But, like, am I going to shrug my shoulders and say, yeah, just let it all fall to hell? Like,
I mean, is there not a scenario where there can be a decision, and I don't know if this is the case, but leadership with the organization can kind of be in that mindset already of, yeah, it's not going to continue on with Brian Callahan.
Ride it out at the end of the season. Right. But, like, what damage are you doing to the rest of it if you just let this thing, like, if there's going to be accountability for Joey Slye because he misses kicks, and if there's going to be accountability for Jarvis Brownlee Jr., because whatever their issue was with him, they wouldn't tell us that there was anything glaring. Nobody can find anything that Jarvis Brownlee did wrong here other than not be drafted by the current administration. If there's going to be accountability for the locker room, how can there not be accountability for the coaching staff? For the person who oversees the coaching staff.
I mean, there can be accountability for the coaching staff, and there probably will be at some point the way things are going. But the thing is, if you fire the coach now, or you fire the coach on Black Monday after the regular season ends, it's a lost season however you shake it. So I know fans want it.
I don't think it has to be, though. It doesn't have to be.
But it is. You're right. It doesn't have to be, but it is. So I get why fans want it.
Sound like me.
I get why fans want to. Look, but I just don't, again.
No, I know, buddy. I'm putting you in a bad spot.
I'm trying to think of a scenario where Brian Callahan gets fired, John Bones Fossil or whoever is made the interim head coach, and they rip off 3 straight wins. And it's like, why?
Whatever, man. That's good. They need to win. Cam Ward needs to win.
I'm trying to
Jeffrey Simmons needs to win.
My point is, okay.
Yeah, for the purposes
that
of
sounds
a
like a
draft pick, it
fantasy.
hurts. Yeah, that's fine. I don't know that it won't happen. I don't know that it would or would not happen.
It's like, why would it happen? Because somebody else is calling the plays? That's already happening.
Sure.
Quarterback's coach is already calling the plays.
I'm saying he looks like a beat dog at every turn, and at some point that's going to drain on everybody. Like the person who is supposed to be leading the charge, the CEO of the organization, is getting up to the podium last night and saying, in not so many words, literally saying the sentence as a part of his opening statement, "It is what it is." I can't say.
Well,
that can't happen.
Obviously, this week we've talked all offseason about the weight the Patriots game will hold.
Ugh.
My question is, how aware is Titans leadership? How aware is Amy Adams-Strunk of that perception over the last few years of you fired J-Rob after the embarrassment in Philly with A.J. Brown. You fired Mike Vrabel at, 2 weeks after the Houston loss, right? Even going back to firing Ken Wisenhunt after the Houston loss that Brett Kern was talking to us about, one of the first major moves she made as controlling owner, right? Like, that everybody expects you to fire Brian Callahan if you lose to the Patriots at home, to Mike Vrabel, all the former Titans on that sideline. Does that influence anything? Or are they going to be in the mindset of...
And I don't know what she's aware of. She's just this figure off in the distance to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who's actually making the decisions for. If there are people who are empowered to speak on her behalf, like there obviously are they more influential? No, obviously they're not more influential than the person who owns the team, but like, who's telling her what, and how is she making her decisions? We have no idea because she's removed herself basically from the situation.
Of course. I understand, but I'm saying I'm not going to sit here and be blindsided if the Titans lay an egg against the Patriots, lose to Mike Vrabel in New England, and he does not get fired, because they are keenly aware that that's the perception. That's what will be the easiest thing to pile on. Let's just hang tight, and we'll make the move at the end of the season. Like, you make the move now versus at the end of the season, come March, April, May, nobody's sitting here talking about when they made the move. Like, it doesn't matter.
Sure. I don't care about them making moves for optics' sakes. I care if they make a move, it needs to enact change. There needs to be something drastically changed here, Lucas. The person who is tasked with changing it can't figure it out.
But optics can be a part of the discussion for them.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. Not nearly as big it shouldn't be a deciding factor.
It shouldn't be. The offense also shouldn't be scoreless in the first quarter through 6 games. We can keep talking about what should and shouldn't be.
Yeah,
I'm trying to talk about what is.
One thing, the offense is scoreless the offense has scored 1 touchdown in the first half of the first 6 games that they have played, and the person who is supposed to revolutionize offensive football in Tennessee is sitting there saying, it is what it is. No. 615-737-1045 is the number. Jerry is in Nashville.
What's going on, fellas?
Not much.
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call. Listen, I think all the Titans fans need to go in the kitchen, pull out a kitchen chair, and sit down in there. I'm going to go get a banana cream pie, and I'm going to smash it in the face, and I'm going to say, hey, boy, you remember like in the beginning of the year when you said you had Brian McClanahan's Papa, who is Jesus of the O-line? Well, he ain't no Jesus of the O-line, you clowns. And that's the reason why the Titans fans deserve what they got. They go run their mouth on a $2 freaking roster that they know ain't no good. And you get Cam Ward and they say, oh, look at us go now. Now, Cam Ward might be a better player, and he will be because he is a good player, but that's a crap show that they got rolling with him. Everybody knows it. So shut up, Tennessee Titan fans. If you don't like it, lump it. Take the coconut cake in the face and quit saying that you got anything close to what Jesus is. And that's the very reason why y'all are terrible, is because you don't mock the Creator and get by with it. So get you some of that, Titans fans.
All right.
All right. Got real religious with it.
He's alleging you could keep his name, OLJ. Just change it to offensive line Judas. He has betrayed them, turned their back on him.
How proud of you of that joke? That's pretty good.
I was waiting for a second. As soon as he brought it up, I was like, oh, my mind is awake.
So we're alleging that there is divine intervention into the Titans suck because whoever coined the nickname O-Line Jesus has besmirched the name of a higher power. Excellent. It's week 6. All right, second hour. More of your phone calls. 615-737-1045 is the number. At some point, we're going to take a break because there's a hell of a college football weekend, and there is much to discuss there, including a massive firing and a massive shakeup in the rankings. I'm Buck Rising. It's 1045 The Zone.
11:02, good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. Titans are 1-5 after a 20-10 loss at the Raiders on Sunday, turning it over 3 times and giving up 5 sacks. Cam Ward, 26 of 38 for 222 yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a fumble that led to a Raiders touchdown. Brian Callahan will meet with the media today, coming up at 2:30. Over the college football weekend, Tennessee survived Arkansas with a 34-31 win at Neyland Stadium. The Vols move up to number 11 in the AP poll ahead of this weekend's rivalry game at Alabama. And Penn State has fired head coach James Franklin after a 3rd consecutive loss. Penn State falling to Northwestern on Saturday. Franklin was in his 12th year at Penn State, and he finishes with a record of 104-45. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
So, we have talked about the bad, and we were not quite getting to the good just yet because I don't know how we would categorize the next news story. I wouldn't say it's good. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it is definitely newsworthy, and that is that James Franklin was fired by Penn State yesterday. This has been a conversation that's been had since the Oregon loss was one thing, but Penn State suffering the defeats at the hand of Northwestern, or suffering a defeat at the hands of Northwestern most recently, feels like it is a different kind of a loss than anything that you could compare. You go from, I believe, top 5 to fired in a matter of 3 weeks?
Just an insane unraveling. I cannot remember the last time that a coaching tenure fell apart this quickly. To go from, let's just say 16 days ago, Penn State was a top 3 team, like you said, and had an overtime lead over Oregon, who was thought to be another national title contender. Penn State, who was thought to have the best team of the James Franklin era, the year, whiteout stadium, OT lead. They're going to finally do it. They're going to get over that hump. To fired less than 3 weeks later is absolutely insane.
Well, because I wonder how much it has to do with the optics around James Franklin, like things that are happening elsewhere in the sport. Because Indiana going to Oregon and winning that way, winning decisively, doing something that James Franklin has never done in a matter of a year and a half for Curt Cignetti, who is going to be, of course, one of the prioritized targets here for Penn State, the Indiana football coach. Indiana football number 3 in the country. Lucas, I couldn't even tell you the last time Indiana basketball was number 3 in the country. I think I was still a sophomore in college the last time Indiana anything was ranked in the top 10.
It's insane. It's insane. Curt Cignetti has to be just the coolest coach in all of college football. He's just awesome. When Indiana scores a touchdown to go up, I think it was to go up 10 in the fourth quarter, and Indiana's sideline is just erupting. Fernando Mendoza, who is awesome, by the way, just a super likable kid. And I remember we played some audio. I think we used him for Friday Fire after Cal had this comeback win in their bowl game last year. And he was emotional, and he's talking to, what was he saying? He was like 98 yards with the boys or something in that final drive. You can see how kids gravitate to him, but they're just going nuts. Cignetti is just standing there amidst the chaos with his arms crossed, and this one staffer kind of goes in front of him and is, fist pumping in Kurt's face, celebrating, and he just gives this wink to this staffer, and I was like, oh, this guy's just awesome. He is so awesome.
He's great.
And Indiana, it's not like he loaded up in the offseason. I have the 24/7 Sports Talent Composite pulled up. I am in the top 50, and I'm still scrolling. And I don't see Indiana's logo.
You just passed East Carolina. How the heck did that happen and you still don't see Indiana?
No, but I think that's real. Kevin Clark had a tweet about the talent of the roster comparative to not just Oregon, but other top programs, certainly other programs anywhere in the top 25, and Indiana doesn't hold a candle to it. I don't think there's a 5-star on the team.
72. They are number 72 in the 247 Sports Talent Composite. I mean, UTSA on paper has a more talented team than Indiana. Vanderbilt is far more talented than Indiana by these metrics. It's crazy what he's doing. I thought they were going to go up there and get thumped like they did in the playoff against Notre Dame.
I absolutely did too. Maybe not thumped, but I thought that Oregon would win outright. I thought that what happens to every Big Ten team, like every actual Big Ten team, when they have to take that travel on to go to a premier program like Oregon to face a coach like Dan Lanning, who has a superior talent profile where the talent gulf between those two programs is as close to night and day as you can get in a top 10 matchup that way. This is the tweet from Kevin Clark at ESPN. Indiana has 0 5-stars, 7 4-stars, and according to 247 Talent Composite, the 72nd most talented roster in the sport, 3 spots behind Boston College. That Cignetti has built a national contender there is outstanding. One of the best coaching jobs in my lifetime. And so then you're Penn State and you're looking at James Franklin. Okay? Right? Like I think that also has something, the optics of Cignetti at Indiana versus Penn State and James Franklin, who has, all the same resources, if not more, certainly on the football side of things.
Way more.
So this is a situation.
But by the way, Penn State, the number 10 team in the talent composite.
Okay, so you're looking around at James Franklin, who's just lost to Northwestern, and you're looking at Kurt Cignetti, who's gone west and beaten Oregon on the road by damn near double digits. Wait, was it a double-digit win, if I remember correctly? Was it 30-20?
I think, 30. That ended up being the final.
So, yeah, double-digit win.
It was a tight game.
It was close the whole way. Yeah. It was a slugfest. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Anyway, it makes sense for Penn State to get out from under James Franklin now because you understand that people are achieving at a higher level with less than you are, and your coach's whole thing is guy that can't get over the hump ever. Now, the other part of this is how unicorn-esque is Cignetti and Indiana. Like, how recreatable. I know that Virginia exists this year, and that's, I think we've talked about it within the context of, that could be this year's Indiana. Vanderbilt exists, right? They have done things in the NIL transfer portal era that have given Vanderbilt more teeth than I feel like they've ever had as a program. They're favored against LSU this weekend at home. Indiana feels like a very, very specific thing. Cignetti feels like a very, very specific thing. And you can go out and acquire that if you're Penn State, and you can throw so much money at him that he just simply cannot say no. But the other part of this is, what was James Franklin's buyout?
Like $50 million, $49 million.
So money is no longer an object in college football, is what you're telling me.
It's been that way for a while.
Well, really since Jimbo. Like, Jimbo was the first, shocking buyout. Truly shocking buyout. And James Franklin was just about $30 million less than Jimbo was, but still shocking that a program who's, Penn State's fine financially, but is still willing to pay that out in the middle of the season for a coach who just made the Final Four.
Yeah, it was that close to just being in the national championship.
Just made the Final Four. It's crazy.
Yet still, it just felt over Saturday. It just felt over. It felt, that Oregon game, I don't know. It felt like everything had been building and building and building for Penn State to this year. And it was such an overwhelming weight of, if it's not this year, it's never for James Franklin. In year 12 now at Penn State. And it's almost like it's the craziest thing. Like, as talented as that Penn State team is, it's like the moment you realized, okay, this year isn't going to be different, then everything just came crashing down for Penn State. And you lose to UCLA, who, by the way, is just a juggernaut now, I guess. They smacked Michigan State around.
What's happening?
Jerry Neuheisel, baby. He's not even the interim head coach. And to be totally honest, Robert and I were talking about this before the show. No idea what the interim head coach's name is.
No,
but I know Jerry Neuheisel. He's the star of the show at UCLA. And Nico, to his credit, is balling out these last couple weeks. By the way, Michigan State plays Indiana this weekend in Bloomington. So we'll see. And then Indiana hosts UCLA after that in Bloomington. Indiana.
UCLA might be the toughest game left on the schedule.
They go to Penn State. Indiana does. That looks like a win. Indiana was going to sit here and go 12-0.
Oh no, they're winning the title this year, boys. And then I'm going to be the worst kind of bandwagon fan you've ever seen in your life.
That would be insane.
If we were building this like a wrestling show, like if we were building a storyline, I would love if, for whatever reason, whatever has to happen, UCLA and Tennessee play in in a bowl game. Would that be a great grudge match?
In like the Orange Bowl or something.
It's like you get to see that guy. It's like all this vitriol, all this hate, and it's like, oh, yeah, laugh at him. It's like, oh, no, he's building himself back up, brick by brick. Are we the bad guys?
No, you can't say brick by brick to Tennessee fans. That's extra triggering.
You can't
Is
say
he
that.
the good guy? Oh, by the way, before we get off the Penn State thing, I think I have it figured out. They don't need to spend a ton of money on a search committee. I've got it figured out, their next head coach.
Oh.
I think they should go hire, stay with me, Clark Lee. Look what he has done with Diego. They're
I don't think he's kidding.
They're 5-1 right now. Why would there be an angle where I would be kidding?
Just to continue that pipeline, just keep going into the well of Vanderbilt head coaches.
Hey, listen, man, if you win at Vandy, that's a thing. Like, that's an accomplishment. It's why Signetti's getting looks. He's doing the unthinkable in Indiana.
We can't take Diego with him.
I think we're at a different time now where there are schools that are taking football seriously in a way that they never have before. Vanderbilt is one of those schools, and Clark Lee, being an alum, obviously is so uniquely positioned, like Kurt Signetti, to have one of the best jobs in the country. The Mark Stoops thing, right? Where that guy raised the standard for Kentucky football. However, he didn't do a ton to raise the expectations at Kentucky. Like Mark Stoops was winning 10 games a year, multiple seasons of that, yet still Kentucky fans, I think, for the most part, were still in the mold of, hey, man, you win 6 to 8 games most years. We're happy. It didn't become the expectation to win 10 games. He was in such a good spot, and now, they're awful and they're lifeless, and it's probably run its course. But Signetti, if he wants to, can sit there in Bloomington, who has money, who has tons of money.
Mark Cuban is so in on this. Mark Cuban wants to win at anything, especially now that he's not day-to-day involved with the Mavs. Like, Mark Cuban is dumping money into that athletic
Can sit there and be one of the top 10 highest paid coaches in the country, can continue to just put Indiana football on the map, and yet still Indiana football will never have a championship standard like that. Vanderbilt, same thing, man. Clark Lee doing what they're doing this year, if this continues and they go down this road and they have a 9-win season and they have this success that they're having, and even if they can go 6-6 next year, Clark Lee will still be worshipped at Vanderbilt. Some guys can have that sort of job that is not as much of a pressure cooker as other places can be, like Penn State, when you're winning 10, 11 games a year, but you're not winning the big ones, so everybody's kind of on your neck, and then the bottom just falls out when finally it looks like it's just never going to happen, and that's what's happened to James Franklin. Crazy. Imagine putting a future in the offseason on James Franklin being fired before the midway
before
point.
Halloween.
It's insane. It's insane.
But I mean, I think nobody finds it. It can be both insane and rational, right?
I think it's rational.
Nobody. I didn't see anybody pushing back on the idea, save Clay Travis, who seems to have this weird interest in James Franklin. Clay went to Vanderbilt, right?
I think he went to Vanderbilt Law or something.
Okay, something like that. Either way, he seems to be a proponent of James Franklin. That's fine. He's about the only person I saw on the internet this weekend making a case for James Franklin because of the success, because there's like 4 other coaches who have more wins in regular season wins or wins just generally in college football than James Franklin does right now. And it's like Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning. So at a certain point, though, especially with the money, and I'm sure James Franklin's fine. He'll take his buyout money and it'll go away for a period of time. This is the new age of college football, and I kind of love it. 615-737-1045 is the number. Speaking of new age college football, we'll talk about the weekend's results. It was also just a little bit of a chest palpitation game, a little bit of a BVS game for the Vols.
Little tinge.
Hosting Arkansas. We can get into that. We can take your phone calls on the Titans and their latest loss in Las Vegas, where I came back from early this morning. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Brian Callahan's press conference is today. It is at 2:30. That's because the Titans traveled back from the West Coast. Well, I guess not quite the coast, but from the Pacific time zone. So these press conferences have been later. Don't make anything out of it. It's simply a routine Monday press conference at 2:30. So I'm sure Blaine and Zach will carry that. Well, because we can carry the press conferences. Yes, Robert? We're having conversations back there. He's not paying attention to me. But we can carry the press conferences. There was an advisory sent out. This is a little inside baseball, but the Titans were, threatening feels like the wrong word, but sending out a message that they no longer wanted us to carry or live stream their press conferences, to which I was about to take great issue with.
When you say us, they're
media, generally.
Us.
Yeah, no, not specifically the show, but like local radio, local YouTubers, whatever the case may be, like people using their live streamed press conferences as a means of creating content, or in our case, informing the audience about what the head coach is saying after a terrible loss. They were trying to shut some of that down, but it seems, at least for our part, we are going to be able to carry those press conferences, which, thank God, because what else do we need you for at that point? 615-737-1045 is the number. If you want to get involved, you are welcome to do so. Insane college football weekend. All right, take me through. Where were you while watching Tennessee host Arkansas? Where were you when the game was tied for a good period of time? Where were you when Tennessee felt like they were hanging on to a tenuous lead?
I was watching at home. Parents were in town. My lovely fiance is here for the week.
A safe space.
Safe space. We were all just hanging out at the house. Dad and I watching together. Yeah, first half of this game was about exactly what I expected. 17-17 at half. Both offenses kind of delivering blow after blow. I thought, Arkansas is going to get their yards. Taylon Green's going to get his off-schedule scrambles. They're going to be able to run the football. Number one, it's a good offense. It's well coached. They've got dynamic players led by a dynamic quarterback. And Tennessee's defense has struggled to stop the run and has given up a lot of big plays this year. So first half, I'm not exactly pulling my hair out because it's just, okay, at some point, Tennessee has to separate here and has to take advantage of a bad Arkansas defense more often than Arkansas takes advantage of Tennessee's defense. And then that started to happen. Getting into the fourth quarter, and Tennessee builds up a 17-point lead, helped by turnovers forced by Tennessee's defense, which has been, for all of its faults, and we talked about this last week, very opportunistic. It is a worse defense by most metrics, yards allowed, yards per game, rush yards, all these things. But they are making more plays than last year's defense, if that makes sense, right? They're affecting the quarterback more. They're forcing more turnovers. Turnover margin, 3-0 in favor of Tennessee in this game. Huge, obviously. And Tennessee builds up that 17-point lead and start to breathe. It's like, okay, all right. And then Arkansas just starts to rip off chunk plays, seam routes for 30 yards down the middle of the field. And right after Tennessee built up that 17-point lead, Arkansas, 2-minute drive to score, cut it to 10. Tennessee can't really move the ball. They face a fourth down right at about midfield. Heupel elects to punt it away with a 10-point lead. Arkansas marches down the field and scores. And luckily for Tennessee, they pick up just a couple of first downs, enough to, with Arkansas having no timeouts, milk out the clock, take a knee, and get out of there. 34-31. Survive and advance. That's what college football is this year, especially in the SEC. But definitely a lot to take away from. It's good that they're in a place where they don't play their best ball, and they can still come away with a conference win.
I am completely bandwagoning anytime I talk about Indiana football because it is not a program I have ever paid attention to. I never went to a game in college. We would tailgate. We would go home. We would watch the SEC. We would watch Notre Dame. But Indiana going to Oregon, snapping an 18-game win streak at home for the Ducks against one of the preeminent college football programs in the country, arguably after Miami, the second best, or Ohio State, the second or third best college football team in the country. Indiana doing what they did and now being the third-ranked team in college football, according to the AP poll. Whatever you want to make of the AP poll, fine. But I don't know what to do with them, Lucas, because there's no reason. They have no business being this good. They are a national championship contender.
How did we come back to Indiana? What is this?
Because we're talking about a wild weekend of college football. What, you want to spend more time on surviving Bobby Petrino? I can. You're up one spot from 12 to 11. That's fine.
That's right. We spent the whole damn first segment talking about Indiana.
I did 2 hours of national radio on Saturday as that game was ending about Indiana football because this thing is so improbable. What, Robert?
No, you're right. Oh, sorry. No, I'll come back here.
No, go on.
No, it's just the way you said that. What?
No,
what, Robert?
I want to hear you talk.
What, Robert?
I was going fast because Lucas can't see you and he often cuts you off, and I hate when the two of you talk over each other.
I was going to tell you. Do you know the last time that Indiana was top 3 in any sport?
Any sport?
Any sport where they ranked in the top 3.
Do they rank swimming and diving?
No, this is the big 3.
Oh.
When I said any sport, I meant the ones that make money.
Would it be Indiana basketball in 2012?
Oh, no, it was 2016, where apparently you guys were ranked as number 3 in the nation, but then ended your season with a disappointing 18-16 record and missed the NCAA tournament.
Tom Crean.
God, I thought that would rabble your rouses, but it kind of just powered you up.
Oh, God. Well, that's the thing. Like, that they have never, Indiana football has never mattered that way. So who had the better, nobody had a better win this weekend.
No, nobody had a more impressive win. Texas getting off the schneid, an impressive win. Arch Manning was good. John Mateer looked like he was rushed back. Looked like a guy who got hand surgery 17 days before playing in this game. Late punt return seals it for Texas, so huge win for them. Florida State crashes down at home against Pittsburgh. They've had a crazy up and down year. Bama taken to the wire at Missouri. Bo Pribula was really good in this game. Ty Simpson was better. He's just clinical.
Missouri's pass rush gave him everything he could handle, too.
Yeah, he's just clinical. But 2 fourth-down conversions late to drive down the field and score that touchdown. The 1 fourth-down ball that he had, not on the 4th and short for the touchdown, but on the 4th down for Alabama, rather than kick the field goal, but to just go for the jugular, just remarkable. Ty Simpson was fantastic in this game, and I think he should be at the forefront of any Heisman discussion. He's the best quarterback in the nation right now. And Auburn builds a 10-0 lead on Georgia.
Oh.
And Georgia just kind of strangles them the rest of the way. Did you see this Kirby Smart thing?
So I didn't see it live because I left to go to the Titans thing on Saturday night in Vegas. So explain to me the situation, because I know Kirby Smart told the officials or tried to convince the officials that he was calling a timeout, but was, it seems, according to the internet, disingenuous about it.
Well, no, he wasn't trying to convince the officials he was trying to call a timeout. It was the opposite. So this is in the second half. And to be honest, this did not have an effect on who won the game. Like, Georgia ended up not getting any points out of this drive. Like, it didn't matter. So Kirby, I think it's a 3rd and 5, and the play clock's running down, and Kirby's sprinting down the sideline, yelling timeout and making the motion, like clear as day. And they blow the whistle, they stop it, they grant him the timeout, and then he starts freaking out saying, no. He starts doing clapping motions to the officials, and everybody was saying that he was trying to convince the officials that he was clapping. That's not what he was doing. He did lie, trying to convince the officials that he wasn't calling timeout, but he said after the game that he was trying to tell the officials that Auburn was clapping. Auburn defenders were clapping, which is a penalty, and it should be a delay of game on Auburn. He was so obviously trying to call a timeout, but switches up and say, no, it should be a penalty, not a timeout. It should be a penalty. Look, they're clapping. But even after the game, he was saying, no, I wasn't trying to call a timeout. It's just a bad look. Like, Georgia wins the game regardless of whether or not this happens. Georgia was the better team at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Auburn couldn't score in the second half, but it's a bad look for SEC officiating, which was dreadful in the Tennessee game too, by the way. I mean, dreadful.
I did see the clip of, as both teams were going off, Georgia and Auburn, going off the field for halftime, the Auburn athletic director just tearing into them as they were jogging off the field. Did you see that clip?
I know. I did not.
It's I imagine there's a fine that comes associated with that, because you can't have the athletic directors going after the officials that way. But
there have been some bad looks this year, man. We talked about a lot of it involving Auburn.
No, but even like the Tennessee, the kid that stomped on the kicker's foot and didn't get tossed. Like, there's just all kind of stuff like that.
By the way, fired Trent Dilfer over the weekend.
A lot of people got fired again this week.
Carnage across college football.
Oregon State's coach too, right?
Yep. Oregon State, obviously Virginia Tech and UCLA fired head coaches. So been an insane year. And obviously Billy Napier, Hugh Freeze, that discussion has to be swirling down at Auburn. But yeah, the Tennessee-Arkansas game too. 10 penalties called against Tennessee, 1 against Arkansas. Like, at no point should that happen. And it's not even that Tennessee's 10, like, whatever. Tennessee committed 10 penalties. It's too much. But for one penalty to be called on Arkansas, and it didn't come until the very end of the third quarter, they missed some blatant holds, blatant offsides, blatant pass interferences in this game. Dreadful job by that officiating crew in Knoxville. But Tennessee does survive, and they have to clean up some things, especially defensively, as they get ready to go to Alabama, a place they have not won since when?
Tell me.
2003. Casey Clausen, the Iceman. Last time Tennessee beat Bama on the road and beat Florida on the road, Casey Clausen was this team's starting quarterback.
How are you going to stop them? I mean, we'll have all week to talk about this, but, like, you don't have what Missouri has. Right now.
And neither team's really done a good job of stopping the run this season at all. So it could come down to dueling quarterbacks, and here's another opportunity for Josh Heupel to go get that marquee road win in a rivalry game under the lights. Hasn't happened yet in the Heupel era. It's the one of two things he has yet to do: beat Georgia and win one of those road games. And obviously, win a championship, everything that you're building towards. But survive in advance. That's just what it is. This year in college football, Tennessee did that on Saturday.
22 years, somebody says in the chat, is ridiculous. 615-737-1045 is the number, but that's just what it's been for Tennessee and Alabama. And now Alabama's in a different spot in their program's history, and Tennessee is striving to carve out their own there's no dynastic talk in college football anymore, and obviously you would have to win championships to start to get into that category. But Tennessee just trying to create this new version of themselves, and with the boogeyman gone, maybe things are different this time around. Although Kalen DeBoer's got them playing really, really well, to his credit. Kelly is in Franklin, wants to chime in on some college football before we get back to the Titans. Hey, Kelly. Excellent work.
All right, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh, we got her.
Okay. I wanted to let you guys know, if you didn't already, that the major issue in the Auburn game was not Kirby Smart in this timeout. It was the fact that Auburn, Jackson Arnold had the ball and was going across the pile for a touchdown, and they knocked the ball out after he had already crossed the plane, and they ruled it a fumble with Georgia recovering. However, both Greg McElroy and Sean McDonough and all the replays that they had stitched together, Sean McDonough's exact quote was, "I don't know what they were looking at," because it was clear he had crossed the plane.
We appreciate it, Kelly. I have not had the opportunity to see the game. I was running around on Saturday night in Vegas. Lucas, does that check out?
Yes. I think I agree with Kelly. I guess the question is, was the ball being fumbled? Because there's no question it crossed the plane, but did the fumbling process start before it? It was so close, but yeah, one of those things that just went against Auburn in this game. And again, they were shut out in the second half, and Georgia's offense finally finds some sort of a pulse with a 10-point third quarter. Georgia was the better team in this game. It is crazy that Jackson Arnold has not yet thrown an interception this year. It's up there with one of the longest streaks in all of college football. It might be the longest active streak, because that goes back to the end of his season last year at Oklahoma. Auburn, who all they did last year was turn the ball over. Yet here they are, sitting at 3-3. They were able to run the ball against Georgia, who continues to just have an inability to run the football. The Georgia Bulldogs do. But yes, a survival-type win for Georgia on the road in a rivalry game. We also, by the way, did not see Florida build on their upset of Texas. They went to Texas A&M, got handled, and Ole Miss surviving Washington State. I thought that game was going to be a blowout.
34-17 is what Texas A&M got past Florida by. All right, we can get back into the NFL stuff here shortly. Well, I suppose we can do it now. 615-737-1045. Again, normally Ben Jones is in studio with us on Mondays. It is fall break for Ben's kids. So they have done the correct thing, which is go to a soccer practice this morning and then head straight to the beach. So,
which one?
You're not going to the beach?
You don't know that.
No,
you take time off.
No,
you obviously don't need me. Yeah, what you gonna say?
Oh, you do.
I didn't say that.
Him.
Oh,
look at that.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and I'll just go outside and take a little break. Take a little smoke break.
I mean, you do that throughout the show consistently.
All right. No, but
In fact, many times when I need audio, I look up and you're not there, and it's just Justin staring at me, deer in the headlights.
Yes. It's because I'm not needed, not necessary.
You are unnecessary in a great many ways, but perhaps not today. Noah is in Murfreesboro.
Hey, how's it going, Bucks?
Good.
Man, I want to talk about Callahan, man. Tennessee Titans have just continued to get worse 2 years in a row. Quarterbacks have gotten worse. Offense has been bad for 2 years straight. There's no fire in the team. Patriots are going to come in tomorrow, this week, and probably beat us by 30. And there's always some problem with, we need to find our identity. But the Tennessee Titans have always had an identity, and that's being Tennessee tough. And it's not there right now, man. Callahan's got to go. This is a strictly coaching problem. Will Levis came in. Will Levis was promising his first year. Next year looked abysmal. Cam Ward, first game, looked good, and he's getting worse every week. This is Callahan. He's got to go, and Amy's got to make a call.
Thank you for the call, Noah. We appreciate it. 60 seconds on the clock there if you can't hear the Oscars music. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
Did you see what former NFL quarterback Kurt Benkert had to say about Cameron Ward's fit in this Titans offense?
We need to try to get him on the show.
We do. He does some good work.
Okay.
Former East Carolina Pirate.
Oh, that's why you've been so hell-bent on it.
And he's extremely knowledgeable.
He does do a lot of good film work.
What has he said?
On YouTube. Why don't we tell people coming up next?
What was that? Are you just expecting him to go to break that way? The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you are struggling with performance issues, because a lot of guys, as they age, as your body starts to change, deal with things like ED, whether it's mild or moderate ED, or even things like Peyronie's disease. The Tennessee Men's Clinic will help you find the treatment path that makes the most sense for you as an individual, because that's the good news. There's real help. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has been doing this since 2014, helping guys get back to feeling like themselves. Whether you're dealing with that mild or moderate ED, performance issues, or conditions like Peyronie's disease, like I mentioned, their medical team will work with you to create a plan that gets results, often with options that most men didn't even know were out there. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work or come with nasty side effects. There are better treatments. Sometimes it's a combination of those treatments that finally unlock the results that you've been missing. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call today and stop procrastinating. 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090, or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. No one wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly or if someone is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Because when you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. The price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. They've been in business for over 35 years as a family-owned and operated company, and their techs at Hiller are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech that is linked to you and a link to track them in real time so you don't waste any more time waiting around. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So book online now at happyhiller.com. That's happyhiller.com today. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So Lucas said that former NFL quarterback Kurt Benkert, former Packers backup, now doing a YouTube show where he does X's and O's analysis, which, by the way, the NFL is cracking down on more than just Dan Orlovsky. You see they got Aaron Murray and his college football show for essential. They discontinued his college football show's channel.
What?
On YouTube for the use of highlights.
College football highlights?
Yes. Chase Daniel is saying that he does not feel that he will be able to do film breakdowns for much longer on social media with NFL.
But the NFL wouldn't have anything to do with Murray.
I'm just saying, like, people are coming after rights who don't actually pay for rights to these film cut-ups for breakdowns on social media. So it's not, I mean, listen, the college football is doing a lot of NFL-type things to grab at money here lately, so it should not be a surprise that they would follow suit that way. But I think we're nearing the end of film breakdowns on Twitter for the world to peruse.
No. There's a way to do this. One, this is akin to book burning. Why are we not letting people watch this stuff? Why are we not letting people make your fans smarter?
I agree. It's the exact same thing.
It's the exact same thing. We just need to get AI to recreate these videos with the exact same thing without team logos or players. It's like, no, that's not J.K. Dobbins running. That's D.K. Jobbins, and he's running for, but it just happens to be on the same play in the same instances. If someone would get AI to recreate these plays and then break them down and be like, this is a very similar play to what you saw with the Titans and Raiders, then you could have some play breakdowns.
Like those State Farm commercials with Derrick Henry where he's wearing a purple jersey, but it doesn't say Ravens on it.
Right, exactly. Or like there's another card company that does not have the rights to show the logos of teams. So it'll be like Ray Lewis, and he'll be doing his big pose wearing purple, but there's like the side of his helmet is just blank.
Did you see Trey Smith made one of those State Farm commercials?
I did not.
With Pat Mahomes.
He's putting all his offensive line in. Jaden Daniels is kind of doing the same thing with Chunky Soup. He's putting a lot of his offensive linemen in it.
That's a good teammate.
Kurt Benkert.
Will Levis. No offensive lineman featured in the Mayo ads.
Those aren't running, right? There's not.
He's got some new one that's like I think it's just digital only.
Kurt Benkert tweeted this morning, Titans trying to fit a square peg in a round hole with Cam Ward. He needs to be running the same scheme the Chiefs are running, but Callahan is stubborn. That is former NFL quarterback Kurt Benkert on Twitter.
Well, isn't that the thing that Brian Callahan... So, all right, should we add this to the list of things that Brian Callahan told us he was going to do but hasn't done yet? Because remember me sitting down with him at the Combine, and I think he said something at the podium at the Combine about this too, like they weren't going to prioritize scheme over talent.
Yes. That was a big talking point.
So do we feel that he is... I don't want to call him like disingenuous or something like that, but do we feel that his words are not, or his actions are not reflecting his words? Kirk Benkert is saying yes.
I mean, we were talking about that just for this game specifically, right? Talking about sticking to the run game and all of these things, that going more tempo, that didn't end up happening.
Okay. Does this further compound the argument to fire Brian Callahan in season? I'm putting it at your feet.
Again.
You can tell me no. It's okay.
The argument to fire Brian Callahan, whether now or at the end of the season, is all right. The only argument you need is 4-19?
Sure.
Right?
So let me rephrase.
My only argument to that is I don't think it does anything. That's what I'm not like getting worked up about, no, it has to happen now, because I'm not thinking it changes anything.
I'm with that, but what if it does? What if they do start to do some things that are more schematically friendly for Cam Ward, because the person whose offense is in place, I'm not saying they're going to throw out the entire playbook, but like they have these things in the playbook. They're just not using them. What if you make a change in the head coach who oversees the offense and they start using the things that make Cam Ward successful? I'm not saying it would happen, but like Lucas, we're going in circles on this thing. And I get what you're saying, and I'll rephrase by saying that the argument, there is obviously an argument. There is a long list of things, but could it help things? Could it potentially help them do some things differently on offense that are in the playbook but are not currently being used? Maybe. I could potentially win the lottery this week. Oh, God, we would never see you again. You're not one of those people that would work just because you're bored. I could not, like, just make a bunch of money on the lottery and then evaporate. I couldn't do it.
I'd be in Rio tomorrow.
Would you pay for me to go too?
Yeah, you come with.
Okay, appreciate it.
Just be me sitting here with my microphone.
Just pay me the rest of my year's salary, which should be about $46. Think you can handle that?
Depends on what they take out of taxes.
Josh is in Indiana.
Hey, Buck. Hey, Lucas. How's it going, fellas?
Good.
Well, Buck, my friend, first off, I owe you an apology because last Monday, I don't know if you remember me, I told you that the Titans won over the Cardinals. It was going to be a major shot in the arm. What was I thinking?
Well, they shot themselves in other places, but it wasn't in the arm.
And I was just like, man, I can't wait to talk to that guy because I owe him a major apology for being so cocky with my positivity.
No, look, Josh, seriously, like, just before you continue on, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with a fan being excited after a win. Like, nobody should be mad at you about that. They didn't pay it off. That's on them, not you.
I know. And, like, people were looking at me like, dude, you know this is a fluke, right? But, you know, it's just like, Callahan ain't it. And it's like, how many more times does it take for us to get our heads kicked in to realize this guy ain't it? Because it's like, you guys in the media deserve so much better. The players deserve so much better. The fans, the city. It's like, come on, guys. Let's, because, like, I keep having that PTSD of that 59-0 beatdown to the Patriots, like, rearing its ugly head. And I'm like, please, not again.
Hey, but remember what happened after that, Josh. 5 straight wins.
Shut up. Thank you for the call, Josh. We appreciate it. Yeah, I don't think you're going to lose 59-0 this weekend, but I don't think you're going to win. Apparently, Mike Vrabel is going to we haven't done a Zoom call with any opposing coaches at all leading up to this week. We are going to do a Zoom call, apparently, with Mike Vrabel as Titans media. So we will have coverage of that at some point. I don't know if that'll be during the show, but Teresa Walker has been working with Patriots PR on that. So as we talk about all these things, square peg, round hole type of stuff, I mean, he has answered these questions. He has answered many of these questions, Brian Callahan, and then not done the thing that he says he's going to do. So I'm not sure at what point his bosses start to key in on that the way that fans have keyed in on that, but like this most recent game was an egregious version of that, where we spent all week talking about tempo and things that make Cam Ward comfortable, and the RPO game leading up to it, and the screens and their utilization, or their how often they are going to these screens without an actual payoff to this point in the game. It's just it's a compounding of things, Lucas, that I'm looking around at, and then adding Ben Kurt's constructive criticism to the mix there. And I think Kurt Warner, we should get Kurt Warner on. Giardi, I'm doing Giardi's podcast at some point this week. Giardi gave us Kurt Warner's contact, so we should probably get Kurt Warner on too. He's had some criticisms, pointed out some things about the Titans offense and Cam Ward in it that I think would be worth sharing with the audience.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just going with QB's name, Kurt. Any others?
Is there another?
Ooh. No, but I'd love to get Kurt Angle
Cousins?
on. Oh, Kirk, we could get Kirk Cousins.
That's a Kirk.
Well, that's close.
No, it's not the same. Did Kurt Signetti ever play quarterback?
What was he, a wide receivers coach at Alabama? I don't know what position he played. I don't know if he played, honestly, high-level college football.
Those can't be the only Kurts. Curtis Painter. We could get Curtis Painter. That's a Kurt.
That doesn't count.
What about Curtis Ward?
Nobody calls him Kurt.
I know, but that is short for just like if all I'm saying, dude. How many
Warner's legal first name is Curtis.
Curtis Warner?
Yes.
Curtis Warner never won a Super Bowl. Kurt Warner won a Super Bowl.
Can we get Rourke? Kurt Rourke?
Kurt Rourke?
Yeah, Curtis Rourke.
Yes.
Yeah, didn't he play for you guys last year?
He's a legend. Played for the Niners. We can get him to talk about football.
He's going to be playing football before long. Fred Warner with an awful injury got carted off the other day. Man, the Niners, I don't know how much longer this. Obviously, they lost this weekend, but just a mess there in San Francisco. Titans will travel out there later in the year. Now people are just naming people named Kurt because they've run out of quarterback.
What?
Kurt Cobain, Kurt Russell.
had to bring down the vibe with Kurt Cobain. Come on.
Kurt Menefee. We could have Kurt from Ann.
Menefee.
Ann. Nice pull. What about Kurt Angle? Since you like wrestling now, can we get Kurt Angle on?
He's a wrestler?
Yes. Oh, he's an Olympic gold medalist. He's one of the professional wrestling realm's only gold medalists.
What if we switch it up? What if we just switch up one letter? Instead of a Kurt, what if we get a
You
Kern?
just told me I couldn't have Kirk.
Oh, what if we got a Bert then?
I think let's go Kern.
Brett Kern next. Lake lovers, listen up. Tennessee National Lakefront Resort Golf and Marina Community is releasing a brand new phase of lake lots, one day only, this Saturday, coming up soon, October the 18th. You can get a cottage package with a boat slip from $379,900, home sites with 40 miles of views, and a covered boat slip from just $99,900. Move-in ready homes and custom builds, lot sizes up to 7 acres, private golf cart access to a new marina and resort, 10 miles of walking trails, 3.5 miles of shoreline, a brand new 26,000 square foot clubhouse, waterfront concerts, pickleball pools, on-site coffee shop, and much more. Play on the lake or simply relax at the waterfront restaurant just over 20 minutes from Knoxville, Tennessee. Financing is available. Celebrate the lake life and make memories. This limited property release this Saturday, October 18th. Visit TennesseeNational.com or call 865-408-9992 to secure your private tour. Memories begin here at Tennessee National.
Coming up on 12 o'clock, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans fell to 1-5 with a 20-10 loss at the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday. Cam Ward, 3 turnovers and was sacked 5 times as the Titans return home after a 3-game losing skid to host New England this coming weekend. College football news over the weekend. James Franklin fired at Penn State in year 12 after a 3rd consecutive loss. The Nittany Lions following up the loss to UCLA with the loss to Northwestern. Monday Night Football doubleheader closes out Week 6 tonight. It is Buffalo taking on Atlanta at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Chicago going to Washington tonight for a 7:15 p.m. kickoff. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
All right, we've got Sanity. We've got Brett Kern in studio, Titans legend. It's always good to see him. 615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate and ask Brett Kern questions about the word that I believe you used, Brett, as you walked in here perusing your notes was debacle. A debacle indeed. A debacle in the desert. We had the line of demercado. Now we have the debacle in the desert.
Yeah, if I could get my headphones to work, I don't know what's going on. I'm just thankful. I'm thankful we don't have to smell cilantro, onions, beans, and the boys back there have respectfully eaten behind the glass.
So you don't feel slighted that Lucas feels it more important to sit back there and eat beans than spend our regularly scheduled time with you. You would like to speak on your behalf as you shovel beans into your mouth?
Oh, thank God we don't have to smell delicious food and aromas wafting in the studio. Thank God we don't have to do that.
I don't know if Brett heard you because his
I can't hear a darn thing.
Working.
So, whatever.
All right. Well, Robert, at your convenience, stop eating beans. Come in here and fix Brett's headphones, if you would please.
You're fine. You're good. Enjoy your food. It's lunchtime.
No,
he's out. Okay,
we're only a professional radio operation. Right. God forbid we get working headphones on a regular basis, or Lucas to even show up as he eats his beans. But this is my
with pasta. It's pasta.
Yeah, I understand. Eat your beans. Just sit back there. Eat your beans. Now you know that. Now that you do this with us every day, now you understand my plight. But with the plight of the Titans at this point in time, Brett, I want to start with the thing that I got, some heat for on social media yesterday, which is that Cam Ward is not playing good football right now.
Yeah.
And it's not solely his fault. And it's kind of this vicious cycle because they are bad and he is also bad and they are bound to bad around him, so he continues to be bad. But I feared that he is getting worse as opposed to showing us one flash of something in the fourth quarter in Arizona and the rest just kind of being, what are you doing out there, bud?
Yeah, I think it's tough. Just watching the game yesterday, just the frustration level of, the sacks that came, obviously 2 of them on the last drive. Obviously you're in passing situations, but prior to that, Zeitler, getting beat on a spin move, which is pretty hard to find, for somebody to do that on the guard, which is pretty crazy. And then obviously, Devin White, the man that left half of my soul at Nissan Stadium, strikes again.
Got Cam Ward this time.
He got Cam.
Few people can say that they have survived one of those hits. It's now you and Cam Ward.
Causing a fumble, getting the interception. But yeah, I feel like there's just times where Cam is kind of losing ground in the pocket. On that interception, I timed it. It was almost 6 seconds that he held onto the ball while he was backing up, where I feel like he's a little bit more natural, rolling to his right, obviously being a right-handed quarterback, but then also rolling to his left. When he gets out of the pocket, he can see the field a little bit more. When you're backing up, that offensive line is still in front of you. You still feel the rush, and I think it's just harder to see, who's open. So I feel like there's been more times where he's backing up, per se, than rolling out. And, it still looks like there's some times, especially on that last possession where he wants to throw it, ball just slips out of his hands. I think just seeing his initial read, first read, second read, It's just I think it's tough for him right now, and I think there's tough to find flow to the offense, and so I think it's just been frustrating. You know, you go out there and start 3 and out, and your defense is playing. I thought the defense played unbelievable yesterday. You know, I mean, they gave up a touchdown because the ball started at the 2-yard line. And I thought they played great. Big Jeff is doing Big Jeff things.
And even then, they were backing them up, right? Like, I mean,
backing them up.
They had first and goal from the 2. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 5.
Yeah, I mean, there were multiple times, too. You know, I was looking at the report afterwards of just average starting field position, and Vegas was 43, Tennessee was 22. And so, especially in the first half, Vegas was where they were getting the ball on the 35, 45, 41, on the 2, and you're putting the defense in tough spots. And they answered the call. They played well. I thought they did really well. And so I think it's frustrating just when your defense is playing so well, just that the offense is just, you give them good field position a couple times and it's 3 and out. You know, Cody Barton gets a pick, 3 and out. And it's just, it's tough.
Thank you for joining us, by the way. Lovely to see you. Was it worth it?
I made some pasta fagioli last night.
How was the magical fruit back there?
Oh, delightful.
Oh, they're fantastic.
Yeah. Cannellini beans. It's very easy. You make a nice sofrito, the heavenly trio, celery, carrot, onion.
He doesn't want to talk to me about football anymore, so now this is what it becomes.
Some beans, some tomato passata, vegetable broth.
You're giving away
instead of water.
Your state secrets.
And the pasta, and just top it off, some parm and olive oil.
I do have a question for Brett, though.
Yes.
Where do you stand on rosemary as a garnish?
Oh, yeah, you're enjoying that rosemary, are you?
I'm not, because it's all in my mouth, and you're not supposed to eat rosemary. Why didn't you pull it out?
I didn't think you were supposed to eat rosemary.
It's chopped up.
You're not.
It's chopped up like it's. He and I have had that. We don't need to get into this.
We do, because it's inedible.
We're here now. Again, it's better than talking about 1-5 football, soon to be 1-6, which we will talk about. Well, you're not going to be here with us on Friday.
No.
You got Toledo's homecoming.
Fall break.
Oh, tough loss over the weekend.
Don't want to talk about it.
You'd rather talk about this? Pick your poison here, brother.
Hey, look, at least congrats to Eddie George. Toledo was up 21-0 at BG. And, Eddie George and the boys rattled off 28 straight, which is not great. And so we lost the Battle of the Peace Pipe, which you're not allowed to call it anymore. Battle of I-75.
It could still be the Battle of the Peace Pipe on this show.
Right. Yeah. Well, can you give us insight into the Peace Pipe? What is the Peace Pipe?
I believe it was the 2 tribes.
Oh, okay. I see.
So we're using Native American relics as a means of squaring off in a football game. But it's fine.
But now it's the Battle of I-75, which they're only 25 miles apart. And it's play each other every year, and it's our big rival.
How do you feel about Pudge, the cat?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you hate Pudge? With your hate,
I'm not a cat guy.
All three of us have one. Robert, Lucas, and I all have a cat at least.
Don't have a cat. Don't have a cat. Have a dog though. Have a great dog.
They did
a great dog.
They did a really good feature on Pudge on game day with Eddie George and everything. It was pretty cool.
And I believe that's when was it you, Lucas, that texted me? It might have been you, Buck, that said you cannot lose to the cat.
No, I did not. I would have said
we lost to the cat.
You bow in homage to the cat. I would not have said that you can't lose to the cat. The cat is all knowing, all seeing, and apparently capable of sparking 28-point rallies in a game against Toledo. So
stuff.
I want to play this Jeff Simmons and Cam Ward audio for you. So let's start with Jeff Simmons when asked. Jeff's going through. Well, actually, let me ask you this first. And it's not very often that we came up to you, Brett, after a loss, unless something just nightmarish happened with the special teams, which didn't necessarily feel fair. But to get your reaction on, hey, what happened in this particular game? But you have been a part of winning teams. You have been a part of losing teams before. The post-game locker room atmosphere here lately is awful because they have not won back-to-back games since November of 22. It's weeks 10 and 11 of 2022 is the last time that this alleged professional football franchise has been able to stack consecutive wins. The toll that would take. I know you were on the 2-win team and the 3-win team in 14 and 15.
That was bad.
What was that like in the locker room as players, specifically post-game? Because those are highly emotional moments.
I will say it got real bad once the time change happened and you were driving to work in the dark and you were driving home in the dark. that was pretty rough. But yeah, I mean, it's hard.
We're about to be there.
I know.
Just be quiet.
That's impossible.
But I mean, it's tough. I mean, you put in so much preparation. Half the coaches have couches in their offices so that, they can do film prep until midnight, wake up at, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, rinse, repeat, and they stay in their office, right? But you put so much time and effort each week in the game planning, practice, walkthroughs, more walkthroughs, and all the meetings that, to see the results that are happening Sunday and the frustration that's coming with it, knowing that you probably feel a lot better, going into the game Sunday about your game plan and how practice went. You had a great week of practice, et cetera. And then for obviously them to be performing how they're performing, especially on offense, is frustrating. And so, yeah, there's a level of frustration of guys being extremely mad, extremely ticked off, just because all that work you're putting in all week really is, it feels like for nothing based on the results that you're getting on Sundays.
Well, and it's the timeliness of some of the things that go wrong for them, right? Because they get a sack from Draymond Jones, and I know he ended up getting a sack later in the game, but they get the sack on Draymond Jones gets the sack on Geno Smith, and then all of a sudden you've got an illegal contact penalty on Jalen Armour-Davis.
Yeah, sacked to the 28-yard line, and obviously, Vegas punts on that possession, but they're punting from the 44 instead of the 28. Ball's down to the 9. 3 plays later, it's sack, strip, ball to 2. Instead of probably having a little bit better position with A.J. Cole, not fully healthy, but instead he's standing on his own, 13-yard line.
Yeah.
Right? So just simple things like that. And like you said, the face mask, would have held him to a field goal, but instead, it gets them a first down. They scored a touchdown. So the penalties were a lot better this game. I mean, they still had 7, but 2 that were extremely costly, obviously for points.
How hard is it to have that tunnel vision of preparing every week the same or doing your best to when things continue to just snowball like they have been? At 1-5 at this point, coming up on that time change that you're talking about, bye week is still weeks away to just get a breather.
Yep.
Like we say that, they're professionals. You show up every week. You just keep doing your job. And they're not high school kids or college kids, right, that maybe can check out a little bit easier. But how hard is that to do in a season like this?
Yeah, it's very hard because, I think, Ben was talking about it. You don't necessarily want to go out to eat. You don't want to go out and do things. Conversations that you normally have with your friends are turned into, why do you guys stink so bad? Why are you 1-5? Why are you 2-10?
That's a good friend. Hey, bud, why you suck so bad on Sundays?
I mean, really, the only positive side is people aren't begging for tickets, so you're saving money there. But it's just
a sad state of affairs.
Hey, man, this stadium on Sunday is going to be something. I don't know what that's going to look like.
It's just frustrating. It's hard. It's hard to go to work knowing that you're really these are the results that you're getting. And so I just remember having to put my head down and just trying to do the best that I could do. Obviously with punting and not try to worry about everything that was circling around, whether it was the offense, defense, but just try to go out there and do my job the best that I can. And that was, man, it takes a toll on you over at that time it was a 16-game season. It just wears on you. And so I know how these guys are feeling. At least Callahan looks like a guy that's somebody you want to play for. I'll say that, I don't think Snead last week runs down DeMarcado if guys don't like Callahan. I will say that. I think guys truly like him. They want to play for him. Obviously just things aren't working out, but
well, that's the thing, though. Like, I don't think nobody's preying on this man's downfall. Like, it is better for us as a media corps if Brian Callahan succeeds because Brian Callahan is infinitely easier to deal with than the vast majority of NFL coaches. He's informative. He'll tell you. He'll help you understand what it is that they're trying to do. I'm sure it's that tenfold in the locker room. I'm sure he's easy to deal with in the facility. I'm sure he's not as gruff as his predecessors or combative the way that a lot of coaches can be, not necessarily just to the guy that's going to be on the opposing sideline this weekend, but there's a lot of things to like about him. There's a lot of reasons to, if you're a fan, to root for him, but he's ineffective. It's just wholly ineffective, Brett, which is why I'm going to play this audio, Cam Ward and Jeff Simmons, for you coming up next. First, let's take a phone call, 615-737-1045. Joe is in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Hey, guys. Hey, Brent, did you come up to Bowling Green and watch your Rockets this year?
I didn't. Western Kentucky was at Toledo.
Yeah. Oh, was it actually?
Yep.
I just knew, we had beat you guys the year before, and I knew we were in trouble going up there. But anyway, I think Miss Amy needs to realize that, we've seen the results, and this is a results-oriented business. We've got a coach that we probably need to replace. We've got a quarterback that doesn't fit his system, and I'm not sure exactly if we have the right quarterback. I know that sounds a little weird right into the season. And then we have Mike Vrabel coming in, the coach that Callahan replaced. So has anybody, will Miss Amy talk to anybody? Has anybody questioned her? Has she come forward and said anything about what's going on with her organization and the changes that she made and that ultimately she's responsible for? Have y'all heard anything from the organization?
Thank you for the call, Joe. No. Nope. Radio silence. I see her at the games. She's at every game. I saw her in the post-game tunnel walking into the locker room, doing a little golf clap. Excited for everybody. With the rest of, it was just like a herd of lackeys following behind her, of Titans administrators and executives and people scared that they are also going to lose their jobs if they have to fight, just following her, hoping to not get caught in her wake. She does not speak publicly. So I'm sure, Brett, you guys had plenty of positive interactions. She's been completely fine to talk to every time I've had a, very surface level, superficial type conversation like, hey, how you doing? Hope things are well. You do a great job, this, that, and the other.
Chances Amy Adams Strunk knows who Buck is, Robert? What are we putting at?
Oof.
Oh, see, now the thing that you two are forgetting is that they have a roster. So she doesn't actually know who we are, but they have cards of all of us, essentially.
With pictures attached? Or
she has
so
a person that follows her around that is able to identify us for her.
Oh, sure.
Wow.
She has a picture of me. It's her phone screensaver. Ever since I told her, hey, Amy, I know it's stressful. I know those feet get really tight. I'd be more than happy to make my way down there and rub those tooters of Miss Amy and solidify myself as the errand boy.
Do you get any pecans from her pecan farm?
Sorry, I don't have my headphones. I can't hear.
Do you get pecans from Amy Adams Strunk's pecan farm?
No, but I do be in her bunion patch.
I don't know how to respond to that, so we'll play Cam Ward and Jeff Simmons audio for Brett Kern coming up next. Tooters. The Titans may get worse, but you know what doesn't? Two Rivers Ford. Honesty means everything, especially when you're buying a vehicle. And that's why I purchase all my new vehicles from Two Rivers Ford, because they've got real deals. What does that mean? At Two Rivers Ford, the best price is clearly marked on their website or window sticker. You don't need to fill out a form with your information to get the best price. You don't need to do anything. And unlike other dealers, Two Rivers Ford never adds accessories or service plans in order for you to get the best deal. At Two Rivers, the best is clearly marked, always available. The best price is clearly marked and always available, always accessible, and always real. And if you want extra accessories or warranties, you can request to purchase them. Honesty is always the policy at Two Rivers Ford, which is why they are the South's most trusted Ford dealer. So for the best price and a real deal, get to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet. Visit them online at tworiversford.com or call their non-commissioned sales team at toll-free 800-900-1000. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. Hanging out with Titans legend, former punter Brett Kern in studio. We were just talking about some of the things that went wrong in this game, or some of the things that the Titans had at their disposal at the start of the game that they did not finish the game with. One of those things was Calvin Ridley, who was ruled questionable to return in the early onset of the game with a hamstring issue. Then shortly thereafter ruled out of the game because they were testing some things out on the sideline. He couldn't open it up. If Calvin Ridley can't be a threat for you, if for nothing else, to shift the secondary in his direction to take the top off the defense, whether or not you're going to him with the ball, Calvin Ridley ceases to become effective that way. So Calvin Ridley goes out. You're without your theoretical best playmaker, even though that's only happened in one game so far this year and in one quarter so far this year.
Certainly your best route runner, though, in terms of what a defense has to account for.
I mean, Van did a great job of stepping in and, what was it, 4 for 75?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought he played well, and that's a guy, too, that's, gunner on special teams, playing special teams, so I thought he filled in well. But, losing Ridley, as Coach Mack talks about that transcontinental route, that cross-country, cross-field route that really Calvin's so good for, and, most of his catches have kind of come across with those kind of routes. So that's tough to lose him. What was it, halfway through the second quarter?
Yeah.
And I guess I maybe would have loved to see a little bit more Pollard and Tajay Spears. I thought, 15 carries between the two of them is not quite enough. And the way, man, Tajay is making people miss in a phone booth.
He looked good in training camp, man, and that's the frustration with how he got the injury in Atlanta. He was having a really good camp. He looks explosive. He looks elusive, and the usage again is confusing to me, Brett.
Yeah, it's. I know you're trying to establish a run game. I mean, he only rushed for 65 yards, and somehow the Raiders only rushed for 68. Now, granted, they lost 7 yards, 2 of it being kneels and all that kind of stuff, but still, to get outrushed, by 3 yards. It's tough, but I don't know. I feel like Pollard's running really tough. Tajay's making people miss, still running tough. Only had 5 carries, but he averaged 6.2. And Pollard had a long as 17. Spears had a long of 12. I just feel like those guys just need the ball more, and especially to maybe help set up the play action a little bit more, those boots a little bit more, when you can have that threat of the run game. Because when you're not running the ball well, or you're not really running it a lot, and then you lose somebody like Calvin, the defense now knows, hey, we can shrink up this coverage, right? If we're not going to get beat deep, we can now kind of, have most of our defenders kind of in a certain box, and then it just becomes tighter windows to throw for Cam, which is tough. And then you add the pressure, Crosby and some of those guys, and how they're winning. I mean, what I talk about on Friday, it was like 19 or 20% chance that Crosby would have 2 sacks, and he did, and even one of them with Chig chipping, and then he just, he blew through that no problem, and then he just ran right around J.C. Latham for a sack. So I just, it doesn't help when you start with the ball, and obviously you go 3 and out, but I totally understand why you had a 6-yard run, a 3-yard run, and if you want to run it again, you bring in Corey Levin, as an extra offensive lineman, you should be able to get 2 yards. And so I think they're trying to establish the run. It's just they're getting down early in these games, and then you can't continue running the ball when you're down.
And that's kind of just held them back from being able to hang their hat on anything, right?
Yeah.
To have any sort of identity. Even last year, they were able to run the ball at times. It felt like time in and time out turnovers were just nuking them over and over and over last year.
Yeah.
That hasn't really been the case as much this season until yesterday.
So,
right?
Yesterday was the first turnover game where, not great. Obviously you have the 1 at the 2-yard line by Devin White, and then Devin White with the pick. You'd love to be able to get some points before halftime, but it just held onto the ball for almost 6 seconds, and you're treading backwards and trying to make a throw, you get hit, and that's the National Football League. That's what's going to happen.
So many of these numbers are almost identical, right? Offensively, 16 first downs for the Raiders, 15 for the Titans.
Yeah.
Vegas, 226 total yards of offense. Titans, 225. 68 rush yards for the Raiders, 65 rush yards for the Titans.
I told you that the Spider-Man meme. They're the same team, but that's what makes it more offensive that they lost by double digits. And really, it's not 20-10, it's 20-3.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to spot the difference.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, very, very similar, 3.8, yards per play to 4 yards a play. Both were not great on third down. Genty's, that's what he's doing. Minus the not the Raiders game, but the Bears game. And even then, he had a 71-yard run. And if, the Bears wouldn't have allowed that, he would have been right around that 74, 75-yard mark. So I thought they did a good job of kind of keeping him in check. And, thankfully, there was no Brock Bowers, but still Mayer, had 5 catches for 50 yards and was, finding ways to get open down the middle of the field. But I still thought the defense.
He's so slow.
I remember thinking he was going to be awesome in the NFL.
He's a great red zone guy, but he runs like he's in quicksand. Like, that's what I imagine Xavier Restrepo looked like out there.
Still first-round pick. He was so good in college.
Respectfully.
But, it's frustrating. And I think yesterday was the first time this season where the turnovers were really, it got him. Especially, like I said, you turn the ball over on the 2, and that's...
All right, so one of the things that we were curious to see whether they would be able to do it or not, and obviously they didn't, was find a way to build off of success. And they had some level of success in Arizona. Robert, can I hear from Jeffrey Simmons in the locker room with us after the game?
And that is disappointing. When you could, in this league, you got to learn how to stack wins. And to be able to carry that momentum over, you have to do, start at practice. I probably... Just being honest, this probably was one of our worst week of practice. Came out flat Thursday and things like that in that nature too. Sometimes things carry over, and when you get in this league, you have to prove it every week and reprove it. You got to go out there and keep proving yourself, your team, that you can win this league. And we didn't do that on all 3 phases. And today was bad football. We didn't play good today at all. So
the quarterback was also asked about Jeffrey Simmons' commentary on the week of practice after their first win, their only win of the season, and this was what Cam Ward had to say.
Yep, you're not lying. Came out flat, and this is the way we played today. And so we just can't let that carry over. We got a good team coming in next week at home. We got to try to get a win.
Brett, how the hell? I know you're not there. I know you're not on the practice field. I know you're not in the locker room anymore. But what the hell am I to do with that? They win a game. They're 2 faces of offense and defense are saying worst week of practice. We got to go out and reprove it every week. And if anything, they proved that the win in Arizona was flukish as opposed to proving that they belong against even the dregs of the NFL. The Raiders are bad, man.
Yeah. You think that's on the coaches?
Yes.
Or the player? Who are Jeff Simmons is a dog, but I'm saying on offense, who are the guys that you're just can hold this team accountable?
Cam. JC is just back in the lineup. He's a second-year player. I think he holds a level of leadership in that locker room. Zeitler is he's a 14-year vet, for God's sakes. There's guys on that. Tony Pollard has been around. I know Tony is not an overwhelmingly vocal leader, but there are dudes out there that should be able to have a standard.
We talked about this in the offseason. Cam Ward, from a leadership perspective, coming in, right? Josh Pate was in here. He was telling stories about Cam's first day on campus at Miami, just bossing dudes around. And we talked about how that could apply in the pros. And we got into a discussion about it where, yes, you want him to be himself, and he is a leader. He's a guy people can follow. But at the same time, he's going to be a rookie trying to figure it out. And we're seeing that in real time. So is there a lack of that offensively? Whereas defensively, obviously you look at and point to Jeff pretty quickly. Amani Hooker is a captain on this team. Mm-hmm. But is there a lack of that offensively when you're just relying on the rookie quarterback that's swimming right now to be the most dependable and accountable guy on the roster on that side of the ball?
Because I think the play has to match the swag, right? As far as the leadership. You look at Big Jeff, he is, dominating out there and causing havoc. And you can tell that that guy's feed off of that. And I think for Cam, there's so much on his plate that I think it's hard for him to do that, to be at the level of Big Jeff and to where his play, is matching his leadership. And I think that's where you need to have some other guys, whether it's on the O-line, a receiver, somebody like Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, guys that have been in this league for 6, 7, 8 years, that can be those leaders, that can be those vocal leaders to help Cam out. So it's he can still be a leader, but it's not like he's the only leader, because that's a lot on his plate, because guys look to guys for their leadership. Like Derrick Henry, he was a quiet leader, but you still looked to him and what he did and how he played and how he performed and how he didn't say much, but when he said something and challenged somebody, like you listened. And Derrick's balling out. I'm going to listen to him, right? Even the same thing, with like Tannehill and the offensive line, whether it was Ben or Saffold or some of these guys that have been in the league, like when they said, like, you listened, but their play matched it. And I think Cam's just kind of swimming in that, trying to figure out how to play week in and week out in the NFL and the expectations and the things he can do, the things he can't, what he can get away with, what he can't. And then on top of that, to throw in, the fact that he needs to be the leader. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask for somebody, their first year.
Well, I mean, you see it all over on defense, right? Like Jeff is one of those guys. Cody Barton is one of those guys, and he's playing well. I feel like you can.
Amani's a different kind, but like respected.
But
and,
I know. I mean,
not
I
having
played
his
with
best
Amani.
season.
I played with Amani. I remember him starting, cutting his teeth on special teams.
Yeah.
Same with like Kevin Byard. Like these guys cut their teeth on special teams, and to see how they become, leaders and what they are in the locker room and how they carry themselves and in the weight room and meetings and all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, Amani's definitely one of them.
Well, that's the thing. Like you guys, at least in the last iteration that I spent my time covering, so end of Malarkey, well, I guess all of Malarkey into all of Vrabel, offense had that in spades, right? Marcus and Tannehill were different, but they had qualities and moments where people would respect them and listen to them and understand that they were delivering constructive criticism. Lawan is a completely different kind of character, but like his presence matters in there, right? That's kind of like a Big Jeff vibe on the offensive side of the ball, just the rah-rah insane person that's going to go out there, bust his ass, and finish through the whistle. Ben is obviously highly respected. Ben Jones, but like I'm looking at Lloyd Cushenberry. Lloyd Cushenberry has been just all of these guys, like Lockett. All of these dudes have been successful in other places. They know what it is. Mm-hmm. That's why I don't understand how something like that could possibly happen after the one win that they got, and they're celebrating with the fighter pilot guy or whatever. He's in the Vegas game too. I don't know.
Primo.
Whatever. He's on the damn team payroll at this point apparently. And no Primo magic on Sunday in Vegas. I'll tell you that much. I don't get it. Like, I just simply don't get it. L'Jarius Sneed, after Arizona said, felt like we won the Super Bowl in the locker. L'Jarius Sneed has won 2 Super Bowls.
Won 2 Super Bowls. That's a bold statement, yeah.
Like, brother, I mean, it's the Arizona damn Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I just...
They've lost 4 in a row now.
Yeah.
And they pushed the Colts there at the end, but
Speaking of that, Anthony Richardson, look, I've been there before. I've been there before.
Oh, really? Orbital ball?
No, but that band, depending on what exercise you're doing, and depending on the color that you're doing, whether it's red, black, purple, green, I've caught one to the inner thigh, and it does not feel good. So I can only imagine catching a band to the orbital, and obviously it came hard enough to break his orbital bone. But that's a pretty crazy story.
Cool.
Crazy.
And compounded with the Charvarius Ward injury. He gets a concussion in pregame warmups.
Yep. I've also done that too. I hit some. Well, yeah, this was a while ago. This is like
you got concussed, or you concussed somebody.
Year 5, I was punting in warmups and just smoked. I don't know if it was a worker, a fan, hit him straight in the head.
I was about to ask if a stray punt ever landed on someone's head.
No, you got the sideline reporter in London too, didn't you?
That was on the bounce.
Okay, so it took a little bit of the edge
took
off.
A lot of the edge off. But you imagine catching a 50-yard punt.
Oh my goodness!
To the dome,
spiral to the dome,
straight into the protocol.
Yeah, just went straight to one knee.
I can't remember the name of that poor sideline reporter, but I was standing at least 20 feet from her. I'm just like, oh bleep!
Oh, that's
stray bounce.
That's the chances you take if you want to. Try to get the photo for Instagram and all that stuff. Like, that's fine. It comes with, the chance of getting absolutely smoked in the head by a punt.
Brett said head on a swivel out there,
head
kids.
on a swivel.
John is in Nashville up next. What's up, John?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could tell me why the team didn't stay out on the West Coast for 2 weeks. It seems to me that flying back from Arizona and then flying back over to Las Vegas and spending 8 or 9 hours on planes could only have adverse effects on the body, and that maybe not allowing them the creature comforts of home and showing them some tough love would have prepared them better for yesterday's game. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Brett, you were on that 2017 West Coast road trip where Malarkey kept y'all out there for 2 weeks. Was that beneficial from your standpoint? I mean, obviously the results didn't bear themselves out. You lost both of those games, but...
Personally, I didn't like it. Just because you're out of, you're trying to do everything rhythm wise, routine wise in a hotel rather than doing it at your own facility, being able to sleep in your own bed, being able to hug your kids at night, being able to, go on a walk with your wife on the off day, stuff that you could do during the season, that you do at home. And it's a part of your routine, a part of your rhythm. And then, you go out to Arizona and it's just different. It was nice being out there for a week. I mean, don't get me wrong. Cause it was that early December?
Yeah. You guys were like 7-4. Yeah.
I mean, the weather was great, which was nice. But yeah, it's different. And you know what? It's, with flights and all the stuff that they have that you can do on flights, recovery wise and all that kind of stuff. You could put the boots on and ice your ankle and all that kind of, whatever you need to do, you can do it on a plane. So that I understand that element of it, but there's another. It's expensive. I don't think you realize. I remember when we went out to Arizona. We got out there and, we have our iPads with all our film on it and we look at it and all of a sudden it pops up that it's St. Thomas Sports Park Wi-Fi. And I'm thinking, why do we have St. Thomas Sports Park Wi-Fi when we're in Arizona? Well, they paid a lot of money to have the Wi-Fi from St. Thomas Sports Park and the capabilities in the hotel all week. And so it's just an expensive trip. Plus they already did it, this year in training camp. Where they're gone for 10, 11 days.
It was 10 days straight. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a lot. That's kind of the trip where you bond and you can do it in training camp instead of doing it mid-season. So,
yeah, I would hate if it was a budgetary thing like they did it in training camp instead of, potentially doing it there. Like the budget, I get it.
I think to do two of them is, it's just a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm not saying, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying I don't know, would it be better served keeping them out west in a situation like that as opposed to doing the Titans training camp getaway type of situation? I don't know. I'm nitpicking. But I get the impetus of the call. Anyway, appreciate your time, bud.
Absolutely. Still send me the pick'ems. I'm still going to just tank them.
All right, let's do it.
College wasn't
I bet
bad.
Oregon, Brett. I bet Oregon. I bet against my alma mater, and they went out there and smacked the Ducks around.
Hey, I got that one, but everything else, NFL, I don't know why it's so hard with the NFL.
It was a weird Sunday.
So hard.
Games were low scoring.
The Jags and, with McDonald being able to, what is he, 10-1 in his last 11 road games,
And
but he can't win at home.
Awful.
Yeah, vibes are bad down there.
Chiefs game last night, I don't know.
I didn't get a chance to see the Chiefs game. The Southwest Wi-Fi was out.
Hey, at least the Titans didn't have 9 sacks and minus 10 yards passing.
Oh, my goodness. That was horrendous.
Not the Jets. Not the Jets.
Oh, my
It
goodness.
could be worse.
It 82 yards of offense in a game.
Enjoy Toledo.
Cheerio.
That's Brett Kern. We'll take your phone calls to wrap up the show. Coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. The best hot chicken in the world. So, we will wrap the show up with your phone calls. We will have a primetime show at about 6 o'clock tonight. And we will talk about what this week will be with Drake May. It's really Drake May coming to town. People are going to make it about Mike Vrabel, but it's really one of the best young quarterbacks in football who looks excellent so far through the first 6 weeks of the season. Patriots are now 4-2.
I love you saying people are going to make it about Mike Vrabel like you're not going to make it about Mike Vrabel all week.
Oh, if you don't think I'm going to Mike Vrabel's press conference instead of Brian Callahan's on Sunday, you're dumb.
The Bills are at the Falcons tonight at 6:15. Bears at the Commanders at 7:15.
Why are we doing doubleheaders again this late in the season?
They've been heavy this year.
Do you guys not like double headers?
Well, no, that just reminds me that we have to make primetime even earlier then.
Which is fine. Get it off her plate early. That's good.
Okay.
I just, if it wasn't now, if it wasn't a Monday night doubleheader, it would just be an extra 1 o'clock game. So, I like doubleheaders.
Well, I like them in the sense that I actually get to watch them because I don't see football on Sunday. Like Monday and Tuesdays are my day to watch the other games because I'm covering one game. I mean, they're like the Titans have played a lot of 3 o'clock games because we're out west, and I think that Colts game is a 3 o'clock game, right?
It is. Yeah,
So
they have a lot of late afternoon games.
I've been able to see more noon slate football this year than I usually do. But I don't know. I just, to Lucas's point, I feel like we're shoehorning a lot of Monday night doubleheaders in there, which is fine. It's not overwhelming. It's not a bad
this
thing.
week and next week, and then we're done with doubleheaders.
But that, Robert, then would be five, I think, weeks of doubleheaders so far this season. I thought we were just doing like one doubleheader at the start of the year.
There was 4. Week 2, week 4, week 6, and week 7.
Okay.
I feel like everybody's just overreacting to doubleheaders. It's fun. It's longer football on Monday.
It's more football. Nobody should ever be complaining. What is the better game tonight?
I don't know what to do with the Falcons.
Bears Commanders is the Fail Mary rematch.
Yeah.
And the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks going against each other.
It's probably that.
For a second straight year.
Bears Commanders. But I don't know. I'm curious to see what, if the Falcons put up a fight against the Bills. Like, do the Bills have more flaws? They're not a great defensive team right now.
And there are reasons to believe that Drake London would have a very large night given their injuries in the secondary. So it seems like if Atlanta would like to play ball, they would be able to keep up with the Bills if they would like to.
Let's wrap some of these phone calls up for the day. Luke is in Nashville.
Hey, guys. Look, they can't get anything going offensively. And I hate to ask, but it is what it is. I don't know how long Ridley's going to be sidelined, if any, but why not just throw in Restrepo and just see if they can get 2 or 3 catches a game to keep a drive alive, to get something, to build confidence. I don't know. Yards after catch, just anything to try to spark, because it's abysmal, and they can't let Cam flounder in his rookie year and just ruin him for the rest of his career, or until he goes to another team and makes a Super Bowl or something. All right, I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thanks for the call. There's not a reason not to at this point, right? But what if they call up another wide receiver and it's Prochet? Like they clearly got him down on the depth chart for whatever the reasons might be. And I'm not arguing against it, but I'm just saying their call up when Calvin Ridley was questionable in Arizona was Prochet, not Restrepo.
Well, they have not gotten what I think they wanted when they signed Tyler Lockett.
Sure.
This season.
Yeah. He's the corpse of Tyler Lockett he is now one of many, many names of Titans receiver retirement home type of situation.
I actually think, I can't believe I'm saying this, elevating James Prochet would be a great idea, because the Titans fans have to keep watching this team lose the same ways. And if you brought James Prochet up, he would invent new and exciting ways.
Whoa. Breaking Titans news. Go. Go. The Titans are firing head coach Brian Callahan.
Oh, my goodness.
That is a statement from the organization. It's coming from Chad Brinker, and I'll read you that full statement as we wrap up the show. But that is the news of the day. After extended conversations with our owner and general manager, we met with Brian Callahan this morning to tell him we are making a change at the head coach. These decisions are never easy, and they become more difficult when they involve people of great character. We are grateful for Brian's investment in the Titans in Tennessee during his tenure as head coach. We thank him and his family for being exemplary ambassadors of the Tennessee Titans. While we are committed to a patient and strategic plan to build a sustainable winning football program, we have not demonstrated sufficient growth. Our players, fans, and community deserve a football team that achieves a standard we are not currently meeting, and we are committed to making the hard decisions necessary to reach and maintain that standard. Brian Callahan fired 6 weeks in.
First to go.
First to go.
In the NFL in 2025.
Shocking to nobody.
Didn't make it to the Patriots game.
I think they're trying to save whatever face they feel like they can save, because if they trot him out there against Mike Vrabel and they get dusted again.
And then you fire him after that, and it's easy to continue to pile on that narrative that they have those reactive decisions after losing those type of games. Getting out in front of it. This was probably always going to be the end result of this year. Are we surprised that it got done today and not a few weeks down the road or at the end of the year?
I am not surprised because, Lucas, I told you that they are concerned about optics. And to your point, the optics of firing Brian Callahan after, theoretically, they may not lose to Mike Vrabel. Like, whatever. Say they beat Mike Vrabel. But they are going to get killed, dragged as an organization, because they got killed and dragged as an organization when they fired Mike Vrabel. So if they have the head coach who's 4-20 next to Mike Vrabel, who would win in that hypothetical more games than Callahan has in a season and a half as the Titans head coach since they replaced him, they look even dumber than they already do today.
Wow.
We're not even getting a statement from Amy, though. Come on. Like, after speaking with the owner, that Chad Brinker's putting out the statements?
I'm sure there will be at some point.
Okay. You sure? At some point, season's end? What? I mean, again, I don't know that it saves them. I don't know that it helps them. I don't know. We don't have information on who becomes the interim. Right now, I assume we're going to have a press conference this afternoon, because 2:30 was the scheduled press conference time for Brian Callahan. So I assume that Chad Brinker, Mike Borgonzi, somebody's going to be there to answer questions that the owner should be answering.
Who do we think is the interim? Bones?
Should be.
They let Denard keep handling the defense.
Also, is his dad fired? Does his dad quit?
A lot of follow-ups for Cover 2 and 3HL the rest of the day.
Prime time tonight at 7 o'clock. At 5 o'clock. You know, Robert, why don't we just go live after the press conference?
Why don't we just stay right here? Just do prime time now.
Well, we want to let Zach and Blaine have a moment, don't we?
Yeah, I guess.
I want to hear Blaine's reaction.
I sure do, too. You can stick around for that 3HL afterwards, and I'll catch you on primetime. I'll be at the press conference. God knows what will come out of that. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. The rare Monday firing, not a Tuesday, for the Titans organization. We will see what they have to say later on.